Well, hello, everybody.
Oh, so loud.
Was it just me, or was the intro kind of PowerPointy?
No,
Is that a sign? Is that a sign of things to come here? Because it looks like
I think you're fine.
I don't have the capability to watch videos in this.
Yeah. What Mover's trying to say is I'm driving, so prepare for
Buckle up.
prepare. Doug's gonna do his best to keep me between the lines on the road, but
Yikes.
Gonky is driving. Send all hate mail to Mover.
Mover,
If
what's
you're looking
been
for
going
something easier and there's negativity, my Instagram account's wide open for that, apparently. So,
well, hello, everybody. Welcome. Doug, how are you?
Good. I'm looking for pictures of Firefox to show how much it looks like that Chinese mock-up.
Yeah, we'll get there. I agree. Mover,
Actually, it looks like the FA-37. That's what you know. Jessica Biel is what you need to find.
I mean,
yeah.
For
Mover,
research purposes, for science.
Yeah. Mover, what's been going on, man?
What are you yelling at me for?
I don't know. He's really loud. He's yelling.
Yeah.
He's really
Why are
amped
you-
up. He's
What's
amped
wrong? Yeah.
He's amped
Jeez,
up.
why are you bullying me, Gonky?
Yeah.
Tell us how you really feel, man.
This is so for all the people that weren't in the pre-intro, which is where we get together for 15 minutes and figure out what we're going to talk about.
The
And
best
then
part of
nobody
the
tells
show.
me.
I still have no idea, by the way.
Yeah, these
Gonky is
two little
running this show.
girls have been bickering for the last 15 minutes, and it is awesome. So Mover and I, no beef. Gonky and I obviously never have a beef, but these two,
You guys aren't
buckle
fighting?
up. Mover and I aren't fighting, but
I'm
you
not-
two, I feel like I'm here to moderate this marriage dispute.
I'm not fighting.
Let's air it. Let's air it. Forget the intros. Let's
There's
air it.
there's nothing to air.
I think it needs to come out. I think in order to give
Nothing to air.
the people what they want, we need to just get it out
The
there.
problem is, WOMBAT, is they'll send him all the hate mail, and then it will just.
Okay. All
Here we go.
right. Well,
And-
let's ask the question: would the audience prefer this to be the Gonky Show, and Mover and Wombat just be guests?
No.
I don't hear anybody, and I can't see the chat.
See,
because
it's crickets, man, because
it's
nobody wants that.
crickets.
I can't. Look, dude, as a fighter pilot, you can't go in a fight by yourself.
Joe says he wants it just to be the Wombat Show.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. We
Gonky,
could just be
in
yeah,
your-
we could
in
just
your
show up.
defense,
See,
Gonky.
look.
Oh,
No.
there we go.
Laura says yes.
Jeez.
So
So
Gonky,
look at the food coming in. Look at this. It's done.
This is
No.
awkward. This
It's
is
done.
awkward.
The Gonky Show has been born.
Oh, come on. You guys in the chat have to help me out here. I need a wingman, right? Did we not learn anything from Top Gun?
Yeah, he
Uh,
left his wingman, and
he
he
got
ended
dead.
up getting the girl, winning, being at the end of the movie, getting his dream assignment.
But wait a
He's
second.
basically
That was an unrealistic renditioning of naval aviation because the main character literally could do no wrong.
false.
No matter how dumb, how bad of a pilot, how many screw ups, he was Teflon. Oh,
But-
no, actually, this might be a really good analogy to Gonky.
and the biggest douchebag became the admiral. That movie is a documentary.
You are going places, aren't you?
This is now he's gonna call me a douchebag.
I know those are your words,
Like,
not
like,
mine.
No, I didn't say I was a douchebag.
This
I
is
didn't say that
awesome.
either.
I like it when I'm not the one arguing.
See? All right, perfect. Perfect.
no,
The
look,
Gonky
dude.
Show is born. Here we are.
No,
Continue.
Episode 1 of
Special guest.
56 weeks.
special guest Mover and Wombat,
Yeah. Go ahead and lead it.
and maybe Luna.
You're team leader now.
I'm
Yeah.
Do it.
I don't have what it takes, sir.
You got
it doesn't
this,
matter. It doesn't matter.
And the best part about all this is I'm gonna get the hate mail for being
Yes.
mean to Gonky. That's what they're
Yes.
gonna say.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Dude, I just showed up, man. Come on.
Continue. Please continue. Continue
Well,
with your show.
I did. Mover, how are you?
Hey, I'm honored to be a part of your show. Thanks for inviting me. And I can't wait for this interview to continue.
Oh, great. Okay.
Mover, you'll find it very refreshing to be on somebody else's
I love
show
it.
and not
I'm
get
already-
paid any money
I'm already
or any
excited.
accolades whatsoever.
Here, let's change the brand to this duck.
Oh, this is awesome. And the funny part is, I don't think Gonky knows how to change it back. So
Oh, of course.
The duck.
I have. It's just a duck.
It's just the duck.
Yeah, see, yeah, I'm gonna have to hire somebody because the technical things I don't do,
you just killed all his revenue. Done.
show up. What
Oh,
happened?
Doug
Look
is
at
doing. Doug,
Doug
Doug is in
That was
there.
my job interview for the new
That's
show.
right.
Alliances have
Even
been
Doug,
drawn.
even
hired.
Doug is leaving me. Even Doug is like, you know what? I go with the winner on this one. Terrible.
Oh man, that's funny.
I don't even know. Yeah. Well, all right, Mover. If you're gonna be like, I'll let you cool down a little. Wombat, how have you been?
I'm perfectly happy. I'm enjoying my new life as a guest.
It's much easier. You don't have to worry about what you say at all. It's great. Not your show. What do you care?
I don't worry about what I say on this show. That's what
It
makes
shows.
it good.
It shows.
Yeah. What's been going on?
Why would you care what you say on this show? Because they always come after me. You get emails.
So
You
awesome.
say it, and they get mad at me.
Oh, this is
Anyway,
awesome.
continue.
Mm.
Are you sure? Can we continue?
Shortest show ever.
Shortest
10
show.
minutes. Everybody's Wi-Fi cuts now. I'm just happy to be here, guys. I'm happy my Wi-Fi is working, and to the 10% of naysayers that sent me angry messages on Instagram yesterday. There you
About
go.
what?
I put up a post. I said, I'm thinking about being on the show from a hotel, right? Nice. And I asked, I go, what are the chances it's going to work? And 90% of my followers were all for it, but 10% said no. And then of that 10%, a significant others also messaged me directly to tell me what they thought of me. And it was very,
No. What
yeah,
did
oh
they
yeah.
say? No, come on.
not nice things.
What
Not
did
nice
they-
things.
What on earth would they say?
There was a lot of not nice things. So my mom might be watching. I don't want her to get upset by seeing that I was cyberbullied. But it's okay because I'm here now and it works. So there you go.
Yeah. Jeez. Wow.
Showed them. There's some never down, never out for you. Probably just lost like 50 followers on Instagram. So
Didn't know it was going to be so hostile of an
dude,
intro.
it's hostile.
Yeah.
But I'm good, man. Good. Just on a trip, on a layover, living
Yeah.
that life. So
living the dream. Yeah.
yeah, something.
I love it.
Well,
Doug did that. That's hilarious.
yeah. I like my new. I like my new.
You know,
That's,
it's that level of professionalism that the audience can get used to because that's what it's going to be like going.
Wait, did you
I hired
make
my
that?
kid. I hired my kid, and that's what he made. Proud of you, Rip. It's awesome.
Oh man.
Yeah,
How've
wow,
you been,
well-
dude?
Yeah. Well, I woke up a little with an ear block, which
Cool.
went away as I worked throughout the day. But I was excited to come on the show. Blow off a little steam, have a little
Yeah.
fun.
Press X to doubt.
And here I am. Yeah, didn't realize Mover was gonna be so Debbie Downer tonight.
Oh
You
wow!
know,
See,
you-
and now you're attacking me directly.
It just sounds like you're sad, man. I'm sad for you.
I'm not
Wow. I don't know if that makes it feel any better.
No, it's fine. It's just-
Yeah, no, I'm I'm doing fine. Just
Oh yeah, of course you are. Gonky's
I'm-
always doing fine.
The golden
Life
retriever's
works
living
out.
his dream.
Life works for a lot of
Yeah.
people.
Tails wagging. That's all that matters. But yeah. Doug, I'm afraid to ask, but are you okay, my friend?
Me?
Yes.
Yeah. I landed an airplane in a tree the other day, but it was only a 45-inch airplane. So,
Oh,
All right.
RC. All right, good. No one was
Still.
hurt.
and I got it back already.
Good. Good.
Happy.
Thankfully nobody bullied you. That's good.
Yet.
Yet.
The night is young.
That's right. We gotta watch. Jeez. Well, we do have a show and some things to talk about on the Gonky show. Mover, I'm I'm gonna look for some of your reaction here on some of these things we're gonna talk about. So
I
welcome.
agree with whatever you say.
You agree with what I say?
that-
All right. Well,
just preemptively.
Which is weird because all the audience disagrees with you, Mover,
I
don't understand.
Ooh, that's a hack. I'm gonna get everybody to hate Gonky. No, wait, they'll
No,
still hate me.
impossible.
It's fine.
Impossible.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right. We'll kick it off with the first one. Today is November 18th. It's an important day. Any idea why, Wombat?
No.
46 years ago today, first flight of the
Of
F-18.
the Hornet, obviously.
Yeah.
Come on.
Crazy, huh? The crazy thing to me is 46 years ago from 78 was 1930. So puts things into perspective. We have.
I'd say that the original Hornets were about that technological from the
You think so?
1930s.
Yeah, the crazy thing is, I mean, the Hornet, she's gained some weight. But I mean, it's crazy. It's been around almost 50 years. All right, here we go.
For the Navy and Marine Corps,
I like
the
that paint job.
FA-18 Hornet, a new breed
Can you guys
of
hear it?
fighter attack aircraft
Oh,
for
yeah.
the fleet.
Best part's the music, in my opinion.
Yes.
Yes.
If you're not motivated from
9
this music,
days after the
Pinch yourself.
YAV-HB first
Correct.
flight, on Saturday, November
Picture an airplane
18th,
taking off. I
the
don't think this
Hornet
is actually
took
the
to
first
air
flight
on
because
its
they
maiden flight.
retracted it. But yeah,
46 years.
46 years ago, man. So it's crazy that the airplane is still relevant, which we'll talk about it here later on. But like, 6th gen, 5th gen, like I 5th gen stuff is still coming. Like, I think the timeline for the 6th gen stuff is probably beyond our lifetime. I don't know, Mover. What do you think, man? First
Well,
flight of the Hornet.
As a guest, I'm very honored to have the opportunity to answer your question. And
Please
what
answer.
I think is that what you were saying was 100% correct. The F-18 is quite the old girl, and she's still relevant despite the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th gen fighters that exist today. Thank you.
Your inbox is going to be so full of hate mail. Please
Mover-
send some of it to me to make me feel better. Please.
Dude, I think you're actually going to get the opposite of the desired effect here.
What is the see?
Oh my goodness. This is awesome.
Dude, I don't know.
It's funny. We were talking, the guy I'm flying with is a Hornet guy, and we were chatting about the old days because of the diamonds, and he was a diamond, and I was like, yeah, I remember launching, like we had to warm up your jets because we were like the beach jet for the diamonds to get them ready to go on deployment,
Right.
and we were lot 12s, and I remember hopping in the lot 10s with the fishbowl, and I'm like, I feel so much better about myself. Like, so it's crazy how far that platform
yeah.
has come. Like Boeing is really, I mean, it's ironic. You look at one company and they take something like the Hornet in its infancy, and it goes all the way through the latest generation of Super Hornet now and everything it can do. Yet they also had the 7.3 and all the way to where the 7.3 is, which is basically the same. It just goes faster and is louder. And it's amazing to me. It must just be different departments or something, but it's
McDonnell Douglas.
Well, true. But I mean, it's I don't know. I find it interesting how those two are kind of competing, but yeah, obviously, the Legacy Hornet is a legacy for a reason. So it's a good plane.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. The Eagle and the Super Hornet, well, the EX Eagle and the Super Hornet are still, like I said, still relevant today, and they're pretty old. I think at some point with manned aircraft design, you're going to hit some sort of limitation, as far as what you can do. But yeah, I don't know. It's favorite. I just cannot believe 46 years, man, almost half a century, and they're still flying. I mean, they're going to fly for another probably 20 years. So,
I think this is a great time. And Gonky, I know it's your first day on the new show, so I want to help. This would be a good time since you have Mover as a guest, and he seems to be agreeing with everything you're saying. Maybe a good thought would be, what do you think is a better fighter, the F-16 or the F-18? And then ask Mover his thoughts.
Oh yes, of course.
There you go, Mover.
Because
Yeah,
the internet is forever. So Gonky, you answer it first, so we all know where you stand.
which airplane's better?
Yeah,
I've never flown the F-16, so I'm biased. Of course I'll take.
it doesn't
it.
matter. Just remember the sound bites that can be
Oh,
used
the
later
soundbites
on.
what counts. Oh, the
Yeah.
Hornet's superior. It has twice the engines, twice the tails. Yeah, bigger gear. All that. It's just better, right?
Mover, what do you think?
Well, to see, first of all,
This
we
is
live in a
hurting him at
world.
his soul.
We live in a world where airplanes exist, and
That's
because airplanes exist, we have to fly them, and therefore, the Iraq. Thank you.
true. I think that sums it up perfectly.
Perfect.
20 years from now, I'd be like, remember that time we did the show where Mover and I were in hotel rooms and nobody watched? Like,
Remember season 3, episode 4? No,
Yeah, this is the season finale.
the season
Yeah.
finale. Yeah. Mover could say Tomcats are awesome. People would still say he's wrong and bitter. Stop the Mover hate. Yeah, I don't know. Doug, do we have? I saw there was a couple super chats. You want to do them now?
All the orders. I
Sure.
mean, this is your show, so
Sorry, my mouse ran into my keyboard and I couldn't do anything.
Because I don't know how to do it. Mover hasn't taught me this. Wicked Spider. Just like, hey, it's
of
Will,
course
guys.
it's Moore's fault. Why would it be?
Happy Monday to you all. Happy flying. Thank you.
I just hope I don't get hit with any of these spears. Keep them up there.
Yeah. Josh, what roles do the Su-27, 30, 35 play in the Russian Air Force? Could the Super Hornet fight those planes and win? Well, yeah, man. The flankers, their air superiority fighter / multi-role fighter. The Super Hornet can fight them, can win. A lot of that depends. Mover.
The guy in the box. Or girl.
Mover. Wombat, what do you think?
I think that some of those are Russian planes, and there's nothing super about a Super Hornet, but it really boils down to the pilot. And I guess Wizzo if you have one of those, but I
Mostly
wouldn't
the
recommend
pilot.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. If Mover was speaking now, he would say the same thing, but I just
He
spoke for
would.
Mover. So,
He would.
so thanks, Josh. Tom Dazzler Small Dog. Did you visit Turkey? That little country. No, Tom, but it's on the list. I'm not sure they'll let me in.
No, you're fine. Mover is the one who's not allowed in Turkey anymore because of the hate mail
Because
he's
of
getting
me?
currently right now about what he said allegedly about the country of Turkey.
Biggest country in the world.
This country. It's
Discovery
huge.
need to get a dog.
Huge.
It's huge. It's
Huge. Skunky need to get a dog and Cam. Yeah, I'm not ready for another dog. My dog died this summer, so yeah,
Yeah.
no puppy for me for a while.
You need to go the opposite way and get a huge one. Like just offset it.
That's what
Yeah. Yeah. Probably actually, but that's
Thanks,
not gonna
Wombat, for bringing him out of his shell there for a minute. Appreciate that.
happen. That's what I do.
I know.
Comic relief.
I know.
And as one DM I got from Instagram says, you literally bring nothing to the show from a technological standpoint.
No
Occasionally
way.
you're a little bit funny. I was like,
No. Bring the screenshots, dude. Let's do some
no, I
public
delete
shaming.
all that stuff. I delete it all. I don't want to see it. So
Yeah, that's wild. None of us actually bring any real technique. It's all anyways.
that's the funny part. Nobody
is,
none
I
of us
know.
know anything.
Renee, we need all three. It's so much fun. Luna, team lead. Yeah, I think Luna might be. She might be taking a nap.
Is she
Yep.
with? Oh, she is with you.
There
Dude,
she
that's
is.
Awesome. Good for
She is.
She won't
she's
look.
checked out.
She
No.
won't look.
No.
She
Well,
doesn't
she's
wanna
upset
see
at
this train
Gonky
wreck.
too.
Yeah,
She's
she's
upset.
like, you know what? You don't bully my dad.
She.
Yeah, alliances.
It's not the Gonky and Luna show. So screw you.
Yeah. The thing that confuses me about the new Gonky show is I see a lot of fighter pilot lore behind him, yet the corner image is him in a Herc, which I don't understand. That
because
at
his
all.
vision's not good enough to notice.
I saw the picture. I don't mind. I
You
can't
stand
see
back
it.
far enough, it looks like a fighter.
yeah, that's right. If I
got a
squint-
HUD.
Really squint, really. Yeah, that's that's funny. Man.
Squints too hard.
I don't care. The F-18, the only plane in the Navy that shot down 3 enemy planes in the last 30 years. Yeah, that's true. Has it been 30 years? More than 30 years, right? Gulf War 91 was 34
More
years
than
ago.
there you go. Do some math.
Yeah, public math. Uh-oh. Yeah.
You too, ladies and gentlemen, could be a fighter pilot. We've
That's
just proven
right.
that.
Yeah, well, hey, what's funny is that one of my son's friends texted saying, "Hey, I want to be
What?
a pilot. Can you ask if you need to be good?"
I have
Wait.
questions immediately here
Your
too.
son is 4.
6.
He has friends.
6.
Yeah, he has
They
friends.
text.
They text you?
No, he had his mom text my wife saying,
Wait.
"Hey,
Okay. I was gonna say his mom's texting you.
no."
There's a scandal brewing here.
There is some scandal.
Anyways,
Breaking news: Mover breaks up Gonky's marriage
Home wrecker.
somehow.
I'm a home wrecker too. Damn it.
anyways, my son's who's 6, his friend who's also 6 is like, "I want to be a pilot. Do I have to be good at math?" And I said, "No."
That is like the most commonly
I know.
misunderstood thing.
100%.
My sister-in-law brought that up once. She's like, "Oh, I could never have done it. I'm not very good at math." And I'm like, you like there was like that much of my pilot career where I actually used like math in flight school. Remember where it was like, okay, old school, like you figure out how to do time on target and all that, but you only flew at like 3 different airspeeds. So
Yeah.
like it wasn't hard. I remember in VT-86 you would teach NFOs and like they could only do low levels at 3 airspeeds. And at every checkpoint, let's not go off on that tangent, but at every checkpoint, they would tell you, "Sir, I'm at point, blah, blah, blah. And we are at this time. We're earlier, we're later, we're on time." And I can't tell you how many times they'd be like, "Sir, we're at this point and we're late. Pull back to 3:30. And I'm like, "Okay." You pull back, wait to the next checkpoint. "Sir, we're still late. Hold 3:30. And I'm like, "You ain't gonna get there from here, bro." You're not. But I know the plane you're going to, and it basically tells you everything. So it's fine. It doesn't
Flies
matter.
itself.
It does. Oh my God.
That's awesome,
Jeez.
man. Yeah.
Math is not something you need a lot of. Basic levels of math.
Yeah. So, Colin says, "Oh, this arguing. This is how the Beatles broke up, according to Mike Tyson, apparently." Yeah.
Oh
I
man,
mean,
you need to
Didn't
get
one
him
of
on
them
the show.
Shot?
Who? What?
Didn't one of the Beatles get shot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dibs. I want mine to be quick.
Jesus.
Well,
No, that
just
took a
saying,
dark
if we're all
turn.
going.
Wow. Woo! Mental
Yeah.
health minute begins now.
Yeah.
I'm fine. Totally fine. Who wants to go fly?
Matt says, "Why do Hornets seem to fly so often with asymmetric loads, i.e., single fuel tank hanging under one of the wings? Don't seem to notice it on Air Force jets." Wombat. Why is that?
We never flew single under one. Did you?
You never flew double ugly?
That's not what he's saying. He's saying, i.e., single fuel tank hanging under one of the wings. Is he talking? So either way, yes.
He says
we did
asymmetric.
primarily did double ugly, and from my remembering, which is getting foggier, which made fiction writing better because I just make crap up. It was for the FLIR pod, right? Yeah. So that's what it. So and that's because Navy jets go to combat and Air Force jets just do flybys and stuff. So they want them to look really pretty and fast and slick. And you've met Mason. She explains all that part of it, right? So that's fine.
No.
But get it?
Oh,
Air-
so
Air Force-
Wombat's beefing with Mace now.
Nope. Mace is fantastic.
Oh.
I'm totally kidding. I'm assuming she has a sense of humor.
No, Air Force jets carry the. Correct me if I'm wrong. With the sniper pod, right? Did you
Could be
carry
the
sniper or lightning on the?
Well, both of them can be carried. We carried the Lightning.
Right, and the cool thing about those pods, you don't need to hard mount them to
I was curious what
one
the,
station, right? Like the AT
Ooh.
FLIR had to be hard mounted to the
Yep.
left cheek station,
Yep.
which drove the need to fly double ugly. So
Wait.
Okay.
What do you mean hard mounted?
Like it could only go there.
Yeah, it can only go on the right chin mount of an F-16. That's the only place it'll go.
So then why don't you fly double ugly?
because the way the fuselage is designed, it's not as far out, right? I mean, did you guys still do left-hand turns, or could you do right-hand turns?
We only did right-hand turn, which was kind of funny because you'd practice BSA, basic surface attack, left hand, You'd roll in left hand. You'd learn how to roll in left hand. Then you go to close air support and you start doing right hand wheels. And you're like, why am I turning right? I hate turning right.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's weird. Well, they I saw since the AT flare is getting old, they're looking to replace it, and I can't remember if it's the Lightning or the Sniper, one of those. They're going to put it on the center.
The Marines carried the Lightning,
I think it's the Lightning.
and the center. They had it mounted center line. They didn't.
They do.
They don't do all the other stuff.
So would they then
Yeah.
carry a drop on each wing?
Yeah,
Hmm.
like
As it should be.
Yeah, exactly. The double
I
ugly.
disagree. I think it should be no drop tanks and slick. That's my favorite
My
configuration.
0.6. I will give you 0.6 worth of gas. Good luck.
I have 30
My-
seconds of on station time.
To
Go with your
this
data.
day, my two favorite flights were completely slicked out Charlies with big motors and
Yeah.
nothing. But they were not very long flights. But
As it
God,
should
they were
be in
fun.
a fighter.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's why they it's because that the
because of where it
AT
is.
flare is hard mounted there, and it kind of sucks, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't do anything great for the flea on the airplane either, which is the wear and tear,
Ooh. Mm-mm.
especially on the Super Hornet, because they canted the pylons out. So
So was it worse on the Super because of that?
allegedly,
Yeah. And the pylon can't, my understanding was because of the Phoenix, right?
no, it was when they did when they were doing the modeling for the release checks
Mhm.
of bombs, they were convinced that they would hit, and so they canned the pylons out, and then they found out later the modeling was wrong, but they'd already spent the money to design the wings and the
course.
pylons, and
Yeah.
right, and so they're like, and when I worked at, I love Boeing. I I enjoyed
worry.
my time at Boeing.
Gonky is not unhappy with his life. He
But
is
I-
not-
Hold on. It doesn't matter what he says. They are still going to love him. They're going to blacklist me. That's how
That's
this works. So
Wow,
go ahead.
Can you
Gonky,
really get
Boeing mad at me.
blacklisted? Somebody on a blacklist? I mean, let's be honest, dude. It's already happened, so don't worry about it.
So when I was at Boeing and the Malaysians were trying to buy the Super Hornet, I got to talk to the engineers, and I was like, yeah, you guys need to fix the pylons, put them straight. That helped performance and everything. They tried to tell me, like, actually it does, there's no drag penalty, and I refused to believe that.
There's no chance there's no drag
dude,
penalty. There's
maybe some-
no chance.
They also said the conformal tanks were no added drag, but like my P brain.
How
I
can
can't-
a pylon
Dude,
you
I
do
don't-
that to have no drag penalty?
And it's drastic. When we would do opposite direction taxi on the same taxiway, we fold our wings, like
Yeah.
the pylon, like
Yeah.
it's pointed at you. Like, man, that thing is really canted.
Yeah, that
And there were tactics they couldn't do because of the drag. If they had the inboard pylons, these are old tactics. If they had the inboard big pylons on, there was some of the tactics they couldn't do because the airplane couldn't achieve the performance because of the cant. I digress.
great fighter. Like I said,
Dude, the Rhino is a great
nothing
airplane.
super about a Super Hornet.
It's a great
Do you
airplane.
have any of these problems in your Charlie? No.
I had other problems in the Charlie that I never had in the Super
Those
Hornet.
were fantastic problems. Like things like trying to make sure all the systems worked because they were flying 10,000 hours and compound
Yeah.
emergencies. You're a better pilot for those problems.
Maybe better. Maybe better.
Exactly. Yeah.
We
We
caught
were
up,
talking about that today
good.
when I went and met
We're
the
halfway
Hornet.
through. You want to keep going? Or you want to do a topic?
Well, we can bang out a topic here. Here we go. You guys ready for the next one? Why not?
You're the lead.
We're on a roll here.
Team leader.
Team leader. What do we got here?
Anyway.
All right. China unveils
You-
two.
Oh, well, okay. I'm underneath the Gonky picture.
What's going on? Hold on.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
All right. Here we go.
He doesn't know how to
China
handle his
unveils
guests.
two carrier-based aircraft. So this is at the big air show they had in China.
One of them's dragging something. They're gonna want to clean that up.
He's like,
It's the rope to keep the people away at the air show. They just took off with it.
no, it's the chemtrail dispenser, man.
Yeah, dude, don't start that.
There they go.
Yep, those look like fighters.
They sure do. So
Have
these.
you ever seen a flyby specifically with the fuel drug out and somebody not tanking off of it?
No, but so this is the J-15, which is a derivative of the flanker. So this is for the
Okay.
Chinese Navy.
Wait,
And
go
what-
back. I'm so confused on who's flying off of who.
They are too. Don't worry.
Like,
Well,
who
I
is
think the
that?
whole, yeah, it's a, yeah, let's not, yeah.
Let's not start
Everybody
a
use the
war. That's somebody
same
else's
runway.
job right now.
No, I think the point of it was to show the three missions it can do. So this one here, look at it, Wombat. You see it kind of looks like a growler. See the pods on the wingtip,
Yeah.
the pods
yeah.
underneath the wings and the fuselage. So this is the like naval Chinese growler version.
Yep.
like- he-
And they went around. That checks
Yep,
for all.
there's the fighter. So there's the
Oh,
there's the
Snooty blew up.
Rhino. There's the Rhino, right? The with
Yeah.
the pure fighter version of the J-15.
Not a good
and then-
fighter with the gear down. He'd be a much better fighter if he
Well,
put
he's
his gear up.
landing, dude.
That's the defector profile.
Yeah. So yeah, so they had
Was that an
Three-
angle of attack gauge?
those
No,
are
it
the
was
carrier.
Well, I
Those are
don't, dude. Yeah, let me tell you how much time in my day I spend studying Chinese aircraft and their tactics. Like 0. Okay, like so.
well, their tactics, yes. Yeah, how they land, not so much. I actually tried to find today like footage of a J-15 like from the cockpit landing because I was actually curious if they do carrier ops like we do, because I knew you were
Yeah.
coming on the show and you could talk to, but I couldn't find anything that was good. But it's I think it's no secret the Chinese like to copy basically everything, and it's kind of ironic to me, maybe not so ironic, that they've taken kind of like we've in the Navy, we took the Super Hornet and made it
Split
a
it into
fighter, a growler, a tanker, and then they they got the JSF, right? The U.S. Navy has the JSF for their LO airplane, and then the Chinese are working on their J-35, whatever, the 2-engine version of the what looks like an F-35. But it's crazy to me the copycat that they do, which I guess is flattering. I don't know. What do you think, man?
No, I think this is the best counter espionage campaign ever. Think about this. This is my deep state idea. We designed this Super Hornet, right? And we're like, no, the Hornet was really good, but let's make the Super Hornet where it's just a little bit worse at everything. It's not an S3 tanking, right? It's not a Tomcat fighting. Like,
Yep.
It's literally a jack of all trades and master of none. And then we'll leak the secrets to the Chinese. So we didn't actually make ourselves any better. We just brought our enemy down to our level. That's all we did. Freaking genius.
But
Well played.
But did you notice? You probably didn't notice because I watched
I
that video
didn't.
a couple of times.
I'm sure you did.
So the main difference between the Super Hornet, especially the tanker version, is like if the Super Hornet's in a tanker version, how many tanks does it have?
On ours, 3 to 5.
5 tanks, right? Up to
Yeah, yeah.
5.
Yeah.
5 tanks.
Yeah.
That thing had no tanks, right?
Yeah. See,
It's-
that's not a very effective
It's
tanker.
Wombat clean. It gives
That's
you
right.
600 pounds, and that's it. You're just going to get enough to flame out farther
Well-
into the enemy territory.
I'll tell you, a wise new podcast host with his own show once told me is either you're really good at landing on the ship or you're really good at tanking. So maybe they're all really good at landing on the ship. I don't know.
What
But that's-
ship do they have?
I don't
They've
know.
got 3. They've got 2 with the ramp, and then they're building the 1 super carrier with the catapults on it that we've talked about. Which
Mhm.
the videos that I was able to find of their carrier ops, they do have a Fresnel lens, and it looks like they do have an LSO shack. Looks like there's 4 wires. It's pretty interesting. I mean, it would be cool to have a ride along, but those are all state controlled secrets, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's interesting. So at least we know in the Chinese Navy, there's some cool bros with sunglass hands.
Yeah, the
Angels in white. You know, so there's,
Angels in White. Yeah, I could not find the Hawkeye ski. The
that
Russian
was a little
version.
bit turned. I was a little bit hurt
Couldn't
there.
find-
But it's
I
fine.
couldn't-
There is a Chinese version of the Hawkeye.
There is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I couldn't
Yeah.
find anything about that. So
It goes to my deep state theory that we just leak those secrets to. We're like, you're up here, we're here, instead of, well, wait a second. Now, no, this is just as good. We've reset the bar.
4 blades. That's what you want. It's better. than-
Yes. It's easier when you get high on the ship.
For the inevitable commenters, I'd like to point out
There you go.
that
There it is.
China copies nothing. They are innovative, and I think that I'm very excited about what we saw in that video, and I think that the carrier ops are just number one.
This totally reminds me of getting in a fight with my wife. Like literally.
You know, it's funny as being your roommate at times in your life when you were married. It's actually fairly accurate.
Yeah, 100%.
It's really. Hold on. Keep going. Let me see if I can tell the difference.
I can't have a real conversation. It's like you say something and it's just like
It's uncanny. It's uncanny.
Like,
This is
Okay,
amazing.
look, I'm just
Guess I'll
saying.
just go
I
to
would
bed.
like commenters to know that I think that nothing is a copycat and that it's all very nice and lovely.
Turkey is a
good.
big country.
With strong
Turkey's
military.
amazing.
Got it.
I love their F4 elephant walk that they did today or yesterday.
This
Mover,
is
man.
going nowhere good fast. That's good. Hey, but our internet's all working. Who thought that was supposed to be the biggest issue of tonight?
I am.
Yeah, I guess
So what's next, Gonky? What are we talking about next? You got to keep people going. That's one of the things Mover would have taught you if you had a peaceful transfer of power here, but you clearly did not. So
No, I'm just letting it soak. I'm just letting it soak in. I'm like,
I'm stealing the furniture.
lob all
divorce
these
is gonna
missiles
be-
and steal the first. No, anyway.
divorce will be so ugly. God. Yeah. Well, okay. We can just keep on going here. Another favorite topic of
this
Mover.
is fun. Air
The Strike Eagle,
Forces.
his favorite airplane. Right here. Silver Star Air Power inside an F-15 mission to block an attack on Israel. So several weeks ago, last one was it? October that they launched the 300 missiles at Israel. F-15 squadron here, in addition to some F-16s out of the Strike Eagles were out of Lakenheath. They were part of knocking down the drone attack that they launched against Israel. So looks like they downed about 80 drones. If you read through the article, basically they set up a DCA, and
Wow.
pretty much everybody that went up there, man, ended up coming back Winchester. So no weapons. So
That's awesome.
I guess they were carrying 8 AMRAAM a piece.
Probably belt-fed AMRAAMs, right?
Probably, but I mean, it's kind of a cool read because it talks about them kind of
That's really cool.
getting into a cadence as far as running the DCA lane and knocking down these drones that were headed to Israel. So there's a whole bunch of people here that got some awards. They're all listed at the bottom. The highlight though, the one of the weapons system officers, Captain Lacey Hester, right? She was the first person to get a Silver Star. I didn't know that. This is the 494th out of Lakenheath. So there's a bunch of people here. I won't read the names, but
I wonder what.
nice work.
That's pretty high, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Bronze Star, Silver Star. I wonder what.
What did the Master Sergeant do? What was that?
It's probably
Someone
not.
else had
Probably the wordy or something. the
Yeah, I
Loading
mean, dude.
maybe? I don't know.
I mean, it's
I'm just
not
curious, what differentiate? Because keep going, go down. This is really cool. I'm not trying to take anything away from everybody.
all. Yeah.
Part 2 has been published. It's Monday.
Do you think, the Distinguished Flying Crosses for everybody involved? But do you think,
Probably.
do you think she and maybe this major were the planners, maybe of it? There had to be something, right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Mover would be smarter on the Air Force kind of operation.
Well, these
but
are
I
the
mean,
same medals that the Navy has. So.
No, but I mean, as far as who's doing what, as far as who's doing what, I mean, obviously it takes a lot of people to
Sure.
make a mission like this happen. So there's probably key players that went above and beyond to make it happen. I mean, it was, they talk about holy cow, they turn hot and there's 30 targets, and they're all hostile. So, I mean, just imagine I mean, in my mind, that's
I mean, even I have a chance of hitting somebody in that
right. Right. So wait, none of these dots are friendly, so it's impossible for me to get a blue on blue here, right?
Oof.
I
I
will
bet
be
it was still pretty. I bet it was still pretty rough.
Scary.
Like, yeah, well, yeah, because I
Yeah,
mean
man.
that's a lot of stuff in an airspace, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, dude, you're throwing live. Like, you remember doing training, and you're like, I know for a fact that's the bad guy, and you're like,
Yeah.
I really hope it is.
Yeah.
I don't want to get in trouble, you know.
Because you'll
This
find
is
out
all
that
live,
you
and it's. I mean, with that much clutter in the airspace, it could very easily have. That's awesome. I mean, that's cool. Good on them. I was just curious. I noticed the difference, and I was curious. But
yeah.
so I asked the experts, and clearly got no answer. So that's good. I'm sure
Well, so
Mover will get hate mail, and then he'll tell me the real answer.
Moved you have part 2 up? I didn't.
no, but what I wanted to point out and why I asked before you blew it off,
Sorry.
the one master sergeant was a maintainer, and that's why he got the Bronze Star. And I'm trying to figure out the highest level was the Silver Star to Benjamin, either Coffee or Kofi,
Yeah.
and the Wizzo Lacey Hester. I'm curious because I mean it's awesome that maintenance got recognized in this.
Yeah,
It sucks that
100%.
not more.
Sure. Sure.
But I am curious as to what. All right, so he actually was quoted. He said, people mission. That's all that was in my head, said Master Sergeant Timothy Adams, lead production superintendent for the 494th FGS that evening. People first, keep them safe, make sure they're doing what they need to do and safe. I was just focused on everything going around. I didn't have time to stop and look. So that evening, the 494th FGS, represented by 66 airmen, launched 14 F-15E sorties, including scrambling 6 alert aircraft amid a backdrop of active base defenses, destroying enemy targets overhead.
Jeez.
Wow.
Wow.
Clayton Wicks, operations supervisor, and Adams were awarded the Bronze Star, which is awarded to members of the military for heroic or meritorious service in combat for their actions that evening to ensure every combat-capable aircraft was in the fight and ensure the airfield remained viable for operation. It still gives me chills when I think about how well the team worked together, said Adams. I wasn't the linchpin of that. I was just the guy holding the radio, the node between ops and maintenance. The team is who made it happen. The APG, aircraft maintenance driver, the weapons teams, the POL, which is fuels, all those people working together, not running, not dropping the hoses, not just freaking out and worried about their own lives. How could you not be proud of that? The success of the evening was a result of integrated planning and training across aircrew, maintenance, logistics, munitions, and intelligence. Liberty Airmen, both at home and station while deployed. Dude, I think it's awesome that they recognize maintenance for this.
Oh yeah.
100%, man.
Bravo.
Yeah, dude.
Very
Airplanes
cool.
don't fly without good maintenance.
No.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, it's
cool to see a mission actually work.
Imagine the chaos on the radio.
Oh.
Imagine the chaos on the ground, in ops, in the chaos, every place that was just and dude, I mean, 8 AMRAAMs, man, that's a dream.
Well, that, and I guess, man, they were gunning them too.
That's even more of a dream. Hell yeah.
I know. I read a couple different articles. I mean, there was, several articles written about it, but yeah, I guess they ran out of missiles and were using the gun. And, the team engaged the enemy multiple times throughout the night, despite having severe aircraft emergencies while under falling debris at the expeditionary base caused by the hostile fire from the enemy. Yeah. So they were. Wow. Although intelligence provided the numbers of how many one-way attack drones we could expect to see, it was still surprising to see them all, Hester said. Additionally, we get personal risk. Coffee and Hester engaged low-altitude one-way attack UAVs in the complete darkness of night with air-to-air Gatling gun on the F-15E after they expended all their air missiles. That is awesome.
That was the pilot and the weapons
The
officer who
Wizzo?
got the Silver Star together.
Yeah, they must have either done more or let it or something, because that's pretty badass.
Yeah, I don't think I ever practiced low-level aerial gunnery ever
On a moving target.
Kingsville,
on a moving target. Well,
not
even
low level, but even
not at
that
night.
wasn't. No.
Not at night, man. No, it
No.
was low level.
No,
I don't
you
know,
got
dude.
night low strafe qualed, but that's not the same as air to air. That's for sure.
Rocking through the desert. I mean, unfamiliar terrain.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude, that's pretty. And
that's awesome.
I actually think it's more difficult intercepting low slow targets than like high fast, right? Because you're in a fast jet, it likes to go fast. So I mean, I remember we covered the drone attack when it happened, and like these drones weren't exactly the the high speed type. So I mean, kudos to those guys and gals for getting that mission airborne and then able to go out and actually employ. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, good for them. Bravo. Gives me
Yeah.
hope that there's still warriors out there. There are
Yeah.
warriors out there.
So for those that would like to know,
He means me, Gonky.
I want to know too.
the price for an AIM-120 AMRAAM in its latest configuration is roughly 1.37 million as of fiscal year FY 2024.
And they were 14 aircraft times 8 each. I'll tell you what, you
flight
can
hour
make
on the Strike Eagle.
just went up a tad, but worth it.
Yeah, we won, right? No.
Well,
I mean
and
the execution is
yeah. Holy hell, that's a lot of money. God.
yeah, but I mean it's like you don't know what you're. I'm sure they didn't know exactly what they were going to be up against.
Oh no.
I mean,
I did like the comment where the person's like, even briefed by intelligence, you're still surprised. And I'm like, yeah, because they got it right. Any one of us, like if intelligence gets it right, you're like, oh damn.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting that. Next, you're going to tell me the weather guesser is going to get it right. Like, I can't operate in these conditions.
Wait, the weather guy was right today? That's weird.
Like, I'm retiring. I can't handle this.
Yeah,
that's cool. Good for them. Bravo.
I saw we got some comments.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I bet.
Aaron, best show yet. Season 4 starts next week. Maybe season 1 of the Gonky show. Corvette World Rob.
Easy.
Have to pick one. F-111, A7 or A6. Which would you fly? Go ahead, Wombat.
A6 all day long. All day long.
Mover.
A7.
I know why. I'm gonna have to go to the A7 too.
Nope. A6.
I know. It's a close second, but I got to go with the. Oh, yeah. I don't know. Cool. Thanks, man. Josh, how important is the A18G and thoughts on the new China J15D that's supposed to rival the Growler? I mean, it's important. That's the unclassed answer. It's very important. And who knows the J15 Delta? I don't know if it's. I have no idea what the capabilities are. But I do know the Growler, much like the Prowler, is a very important part of any kind of strike that you're going to do from a carrier. If you're using, especially if you're using just 4th gen airplanes like we used to when I was in, we didn't have any 5th gen out there. So the Prowler / Growler was, if you're going into any kind of contested environment, you wanted them. Wombat?
Oh yeah, no, I agree. Prowlers are awesome. I mean, as an E2 guy, the Prowler was the one protecting us, right? Really, a lot of times because we couldn't protect ourselves. That's for sure.
Did you guys have when I was in the fleet, the Prowlers were still out there, like the Growlers were just starting to come on. Did you guys have them in your air wing?
We had Prowlers. Prowlers, only Prowlers. Never had Growlers in my air wing, I don't think.
Yeah.
So we were definitely Prowlers when I was a Hawkeye guy. I'm trying to think. No, I think we had Prowlers still when I was a Hornet guy too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those things, I mean, one, kudos to the people that can fly them.
Yeah.
And two, like, yeah, in a plane like a Hawkeye where you don't have any self-defense short of wrapping NFOs in tinfoiling and throwing them out the ditching hatch, like, you got nothing. Hey, I proposed it as an idea. It got shot down. But sometimes outside the box thinking is what changes tactics. Okay, so
valid, 100%.
We have 3 large chat. That's it.
Yeah.
Like,
arm the seat, Wizzo. You're the last
That's
player.
right.
But yeah, I mean, dude, we would often, work with those guys. Prowlers were awesome. Plus, we were both, we were the last Grumman kiddos on the carrier. So.
Ironworks, baby.
Yep. So we had a lot of the same emergencies. Is basically what I'm getting at. But
Mover, what do you think, man?
It's great.
It's great. So great.
he gets fired up every time you talk carrier ops.
John, oh, he is done. Regardless of this would be a roast. Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good.
Tab extra. How much is 100? What is that? I don't know. F-18's
North Korean. No.
North F-18's problem was that F-14 and F-16 got a lot of Hollywood movies showcasing them, but the F-18 did not really before Top Gun Maverick movie. Well, there was Behind Enemy Lines where it got shot down.
Well, you'd get shot down too if you got shot at by a heat-singing, radar-guided, heat-singing.
Long range, real long range. Long
Wile E.
burn.
Coyote.
Long
Yeah.
burn.
The super long
Acme.
burn.
The Acme missile.
Yes.
Just drop the tanks into the mountain, man. I mean, if you can't beat that.
Battlefield 3. Let's
Wait a
see.
minute. Dude, they repelled the aliens on Independence Day.
Yeah.
Hornets.
Clear and
that's
present
like-
danger.
Yes. The Rock, right?
The Rock. Well, those are Air Force. Those are U.S. Air Force.
Yeah, those
Air
were
Force Hornets. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else? do we-
Tears of the Sun with
Yeah.
Bruce Willis.
Yes.
There was a cod in that as well, wasn't there?
No one remembers.
I think the
Sure,
seals jumped out of
probably.
I think the seals jumped out of a cod at the beginning of the movie.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I would have if I could have.
Yeah.
I think all those fighters got movie time. I don't know.
You know who hasn't gotten a lot of movie time, but there's an excellent book to be made into a script about is the Hawkeye. Now, it did just get some DCS time. I got some airplay for
Okay.
Wags. on
Are you
DCS.
still the air boss? Whatever happened with that?
I don't know. I was going to ask Wags to get on this trip. So I was hoping somebody, if I had supporters left, would ask. I recorded it, but it didn't come up. I watched that 14-minute clip he put on Twitter because somebody was like,
14 minutes.
well, first of all, that's a lot for me on DC.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Jeez, you're like,
Well, because somebody commented, like, I love the shout out to WOMBAT. So I was like, all right, well, I mean, who doesn't love a good shout out, right? So I watched it, and he does. He's taxing around, and he's like, don't scratch the Hawkeye, or WOMBAT will get mad. So that was all.
that's it. That's the
Yeah.
whole the cameo.
That's 17 minutes.
it.
That's a slow taxi, man.
No, it was. I'll tell you, not that I'm a big DCS guy or a DCS guy, period. But it was watching the carrier ops video. I was like, dude, that's pretty freaking accurate and cool. Like, I was like, dang. Also,
Right.
Wags can fly a better pass than Gonky.
Oh
Also
yeah,
true
that's
fact.
that's pretty much anybody can. I don't.
It was pretty impressive. I was like, I'm pretty sure I couldn't land like that in DCS right now. But anyway, I digress.
I just show up on the day of CQ. I don't actually practice. It's like that's
Story
why
of your
would I-
life, bro.
why would I
Story of
waste
your
my
pilot
time?
career. I just go off
FCLPs
my
don't make 'em-
natural gifted ability,
Ah,
and people will let me be. And
what do you mean there's no
I'm
HUD in this thing? I can't do
Yeah,
this.
unable. Just jets down. So anyway,
Joe, that was a weird experience. Came in 15 minutes late. Sorry guys, and it looked like a regular show. Decided to go back to the start and found divorce court. I'm not the one asking for the divorce, Joe. I want to try to work it out.
It's called gaslighting, Donkey. That's what this is now.
yeah. Now you're using terms he doesn't understand.
I know what gaslighting means. John said, "Move."
It's amazing. Nailed it. Fucking awesome.
Movement
love
and
it.
compromise. Yes. Plexi. I got here late as Gonky boy.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. Plexi. It's
Yes.
180. No.
No. See,
By the way, what's wrong with your airplane?
Lexi
there?
has changed his
I was
avatar.
gonna say your avatar is a
Not
little
it's no longer family friendly.
Free diver.
It's pretty awesome though.
Well,
It looks like an open-ended wrench. That's
yeah,
all.
but you know what? I might agree with him because Freediver said that was grumpy, and what was the other one he said? Was cynical? Something I don't know. He said used some very harsh language. So I agree with Plexi on this one.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thanks,
Hate
Plexi.
mail inbound.
You know what? I'm at the limit of my inbox, so it doesn't matter.
It just bounces right back.
Yeah,
Fix the glitch.
yeah. Not paying for any more storage, so send
Zippers
all
for-
hate mail to God. Look, they send hate mail that Gonky did to Gonky that I did it to them. That's where we're at right now. You got to
They
draw a
can't, 'cause
diagram.
Like, can you guys even see my email address? It's gone for some reason. I don't know how that happened.
Once you remove the comment, it'll be back.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Don't remove the comments. Zippers forever. The Master Sergeant saved hung ordnance. Shrapnel's raining down on the base. Yeah, that is.
Yeah,
awesome.
it's pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Thanks, Zipper. Luke says, Dugulator, Wombart, Gonkoid, and Movis. The quad pack is all here tonight. Hope y'all are well. Just tune in. Don't forget to bid.
It's good.
What are we
It's
bidding
already,
for?
it's already
Already
passed.
I already bid.
Yeah.
I already got my December schedule.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
did too. So
Yeah. Oh yeah. Bob says new intro. Cut the music. Needle scratch sound. Cross out mover and Gonky spray paint in the Wombat Show graffiti style. It's a coup. Yeah, I think the Wombat Show would actually do way better than the Gonky Show.
Speaking
Yeah,
of
right.
that, dude, bad news. GM was laying off a whole bunch of Chevrolet Performance has laid off a whole bunch of people. So not good in the car industry right now. We've talked
That's a
cars with
bummer.
Bob. That's why I'm thinking about it.
okay.
Oh wow.
But it's not good for performance cars in general. With
Is
them.
it just the Chevy Performance or whatever? they're
GM
called,
has
or-
laid off 1,000, and the hardest hit is the Chevrolet Performance
sucks.
side of the house, which sucks because I mean, look what they're doing with the Corvette, and they nuked the Camaro when they should have kept it, and
Oh yeah.
sucks to see that. But you don't want to see people getting laid off in general.
Oh man.
No, especially when I'd imagine the people in that section are really the passionate. You're not in whatever Chevy Performance is and Ford Performance and that level, and just you're not the average Joe. Or
Yeah.
Oh, you're
Well,
an enthusiast.
We saw it happen with Dodge / Mopar / Stellantis, where
nice.
where that happened. I mean, they got rid of everybody, and
Yeah.
now everything. Ford is the only one that's still really
So-
we got the pony car,
Yeah.
the Mustang, if you will.
No, it's a Mustang. Trust me. I've been looking. I've been dabbling. Might get an EcoBoost. What do you think? Pretty good. Like a 2.3. Is that? I don't even know what I'm saying.
Corvette World Rob. When are we getting Mover Ruins Turbulence movie?
What is that?
Is
Yeah,
that
I
a
don't even
movie?
know that movie.
Doug, is Turbulence a movie?
And he says
have to
turbulence
look it up.
movie, so I'm assuming that means it's a movie.
Look,
I
listen.
could just
You're
throw
the
it out
guest
there.
mover.
I'm sorry.
This is
I'm
his
sorry.
first show.
I'm
This
sorry.
is a dynamic
I'm
world.
sorry. You're right. I should only speak when spoken to.
Yeah.
Is the guest.
Last time we
I mean-
invite Mover on the show, boy, oh boy, man, it's like
Or
just-
you, because right now it's the Wombat Show. So throttle back, Jim.
What's after the showl? What is that? The Wombat shoal?
It's an explanation point. People are very happy.
You-
Very, very happy.
You're
about
missing
this.
you're missing your period.
Yeah. Well,
Well, if you know what Wombat means, the exclamation is very fitting.
yeah. I should just do my own
Thanks,
YouTube
Rob.
channel that threatens to tell what my call sign is every time. And that's it.
I
Just
think
never do it.
Gonky should tell his call sign story.
No.
And then he'd be canceled, and you'd be back to the Mover Show. That's
We're
the
gonna
ultimate coup.
Doug, if you play your cards right tonight, this baby's gonna be yours. It's like-
All this.
I'm the
Doug.
one, I'm
This
the
is
one
all gonna be
scrawling
yours.
the cards.
this whole show is gonna be yours.
One day, Doug, this will all be yours.
It looks like
Thanks.
Trogdor.
Josh says, "What would you rather fly, Typhoon or Rafale?" Typhoon. Wombat.
I don't know. Are they probably the Typhoon? I'd have to go Typhoon. I've seen some cool videos, but
Mover.
I would like to fly a Typhoon, please.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the Typhoon's a better looking airplane. I'm superficial. So
there you go.
send me the hate mail if you're French. Sorry.
No.
There, Mover. Take some heat for you. We caught up.
No, I'm gonna get that. Again, they're gonna be like,
We are
well, your
caught up.
last name is French. Like,
Yeah, somehow you'll get hate mail from the French and Gonky will get an Airbus endorsement deal. Then it just
Zipper.
won't make any sense.
Sorry, Mover. Get canceled. Yeah. Well, Wombat, I guess, dude, if you just want to throw out, a whole bunch of controversial stuff right now, we can get Mover just ripped off the internet, man.
Not going to happen. Mover's got a new role on the internet, right? Are we talking about that or no? With your
dude, I asked him, hey, what's been going on, Mover? How you doing?
you're trained and ready to go now in this stuff. This is you're the SME.
Yeah, and I was trained to avoid hostile hosts.
I bet you were actually. I bet you were. I believe that,
Anti-government,
I'm not
anti-Air Force hostile hosts. I'm not allowed to interact with you. So
How am I? I'm not anti-government or anti. What'd you say, Air Force?
Did they give you your own hashtag? Is that
No.
graduating the course? Like, there you go.
Mover, do you want to?
No.
Would you like to tell the fans about
If there's
about
any
what
left.
you did this week, or is it G14 classified?
I just work here.
Oh, jeez.
Fine. Moving on.
All right. Yeah.
Since it's
moving
my show now. What else you got? Just fun. It's a lot easier than I thought it was, to be honest with you. It's
yeah.
pretty simple.
Yeah. You just keep poking the bear. That's all you got to do, Wombat.
I don't bring any technical knowledge to the show. That's been proven by my followers.
No, I don't know. Doug, you got the next one. You can bring it up, man. I thought this would be good to talk about. In Mover and Wombat kind of.
I'm
alluded to
stuck.
it.
Hang on.
Hold on here.
There we go.
Help me, Step Gonky. I'm stuck.
Like I said, Doug, this baby's gonna be all yours in short order.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah. So China unveils a heavy swarm carrier UAV at air show. Large aircraft to carry smaller drones and long distance type warfare. So I thought, we just recognized the Lake and Heath F-15s for doing good work against drones, but I don't know. Future warfare, we've talked about it a lot, Mover, when it used to be the Mover and Gonky show, about how drone warfare in the future is going to change kind of the landscape of at least what we believe aerial warfare will be. I mean, imagine having a couple of drone carriers out in front of your strike package, and then just launching all the drones and let them soak up all the AIM-120s that cost, what was it, $1.3 million a piece. And then let the real fighters come in afterwards, missile sponges, if you will. But I think it's a good idea. Wombat, what do you think about drone carriers carrying drones into combat? And how do you think that would affect air warfare? Like, kind of thinking about a scenario like the Lake and Heath guys just repelled a big drone attack.
I think the concern. I think it's obviously a tactic that could work. The wars of late, whoever's fighting in them, we've seen, more UAVs, more drones, more. Everything is going that route, right? It's less and less the.
What the hell was that? Doug?
It's fine. It's fine. I get it, Doug. I get it.
Wait, what happened?
I don't think you're muted, dude.
It's fair.
Oh, the
It's fair.
Gonky show is perfect, dude.
It,
This has to stay. This is such a Gonky show.
It stings a bit. It stings a bit when you yawn audibly during my comment.
I
But it
get
hurts
my
me
mute and my
more.
unmute swapped, I think.
But Doug, it hurts me more to know that you've been doing it this whole time on mute. That's, I think, what really stings.
Oh yeah.
So I think that drone carriers would carry drones and effectively change air warfare. In summary,
Oh,
is
Christ.
that quick enough for you, Doug? Are you still with us?
I'm never speaking again.
Oh my God. Oh Jesus.
That one hit down to the ego. Don't go lie to you.
Yeah.
She faced when it happened too.
Dude, this episode reminds me of I'm asking, is this thing still flyable?
That one.
That was perfect, dude. Listen, you can't write.
Ah,
You
man,
can't
I'm
write
crying.
realism This is actually a
no.
very typical Ready Room type.
Dude, I'm glad I wasn't drinking something because it'd have been a spit take.
This is a very Ready Room actual type conversation.
Yeah,
It
it's
is.
rebranded back to the Ready Room, dude. We've come full circle.
Full circle.
Yeah, dude.
With-
I mean, all day, all day, dude. Yeah, don't bore me with your talk.
You know what's crazy is we've got more views than the Spaceman.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
I mean,
yeah,
Wombat
that's-
shows up and it's more than the Space Billionaire, who is not the Batman.
you don't know that.
You do know that.
We
Gonky.
never
Look
asked.
look at crime.
You're right. Well,
He's not doing a great job.
Oh,
dude, yeah,
man.
I don't know. Batman has his limitations, man.
But Wombat does not. So, which is
Yeah.
why we have more views.
Yeah.
So, yeah, drone carriers can carry drones. End of story.
Well, I don't want to ask, but Mover, what's your take?
I'm reminded of a story. The nonfiction show about a carrier that could fly, and Captain America didn't like it too much. So I feel like that's a big risk.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Good talk. That's right. Movies for 200, please.
Yeah.
I'll take anal bum cover for 60.
Yeah. All right, Mover, if you don't want to talk about that. All right.
Well, all right. Oh, okay. Drones are dangerous. Drones are bad. However, there's technologies out there that are probably going to affect and help to neutralize the drone issue, in which case you just built the drone carrier and now we're adapting. It's always going to be some level of
100%.
point counterpoint. So,
Yep.
I mean, stick with what works, but it's still a very big threat.
You brought up a good point, Mover, about the cost of the AMRAMs, and like, Wombat, you said, yeah, all 8 of them. Well, you've got hundreds of targets coming at you.
The key is to shoot down the drone carrier before it launches. Then it's one AMRAM.
That's true. Or blow a hole in the runway before they can take off.
There you go.
But
Yep.
I mean, what if you can't? I don't know. Something like that, unless
I
you
mean,
launch it
some
from a
of
ship.
us like to live in a positive world, Gonky, where you can. So,
Well, yeah. Well, something like that, unless you can launch it from a ship. I mean, that's at least in its current form, it's defensive type in nature.
Sure.
At least, 'cause-
Well, I mean, Gonky, you're talking about, AMRAMs today, right? But as technology, directed energy weapons, EMP
Right.
weapons, stuff that can disable it, stuff that can hack it, all the emerging technologies that a lot of companies are spending a lot of money on. I mean, once you get to that point, now you're like, okay, well, what's next? It's the same philosophically. It reminds me of like stealth versus electronic attack, right? Because for the longest time, we were like, we're going to be invisible. And then the Russians were like, well, that's fine. You can't see anything if all the trons are out there and your radars don't work. And, what difference does it make anyway? And that's a more cost-effective solution in the grand scheme of things in general, but it also affects you. So there's always going to be, emerging tech, a counter, and then we're back to where we started in some level. Now, does that mean we won't have, the Jessica Biel's FA-37 fighting us? I don't know. Edie? I don't know. Maybe.
yeah.
maybe.
We're going to talk about that in a minute, right?
yeah.
Isn't that one
Great
of the-
segue.
The white-
That was the segue of a professional podcast host.
guest.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Doug, what do you have pulled up
Smooth
there?
as silk.
Do you
Hang
have?
on, I think I'm lost.
Hold on,
The
dude.
good
Here.
news is I was worried about this show going too long, so I have an early wake up tomorrow. But the way that it's floundering, I'm surprised it's lasted this long. So should be
Nah, here-
wrapping
hold
it up
on,
any
Doug.
minute now.
Here, hold on. Doug, here, I'll pull this here. We'll change gears just for a second. This one's kind of interesting. All right. Here we go.
You need Jeopardy music or something. What are
Yeah,
you
I
doing?
was like, man,
All right, here we go. All right, so we covered it last week. Mover Spirit taking 7 rounds going into Haiti.
Are we supposed to be looking at something?
The Airbus? Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
oof,
So
wow, guest. Slow your roll and stay in your lane. We're shifting gears, bro.
yeah, so the
The
Spirit,
IROC
right?
has the lead.
Yeah, so there's several
Leader.
carriers that went into Haiti that got shot. So they stopped all flights to Haiti. Well, I guess you don't have to be
And now we
Haiti
can't hear.
to get shot. So here we go. This is the Southwest 737 trying to leave Dallas. Thank you, Vass. You guys hear it?
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. So
Southwest 2494, left side 13 right, line up and wait for spacing. Southwest 2494, we like to return to the gate, need to have an inspection on here on the aircraft. Southwest 2494, roger. Enter runway 13 right at the approach end, and then exit at Charlie 7. Right there, 13 right at the approach end and exit at Charlie 7, Southwest 2494.
yeah, so they canceled their takeoff clearance. They're just going to taxi down 13 right.
Southwest 4622, contact regional departure, good night.
And they're going to head back to the gate.
Southwest
So
2494, what gate are you going to go to? We're talking with a company
Here,
right now.
man.
We're going to see if we can go back somewhere
So
around
this-
around the 7.
all right, so I'll fast forward it.
We're going to make some phone calls about it, but I guess it was like 15 minutes ago or something. They think that somebody from outside the airport shot a firearm at the aircraft, and we're just now finding out that that's what they think happened. They had gone back to the gate. No one's injured, but it sounds like somebody was like out by Bachman Lake, and they had shot a firearm at the aircraft.
Neat.
So yeah, so they're getting ready to take off 13 right out of left field. I've never been. Have you guys been there? Yeah. I don't know, and I'd be interested to hear y'all's take, but hey, they decide they need to go back to the gate to get something looked at. They taxi back, figure out what gate to go to, and then you guys just heard the conversation between like, hey, looks like maybe they got shot. So with engines running, taxiing at the end of the run, and it looks like they took one round in the cockpit areas is what I read. Nobody got hurt, thankfully. But I guess my question is, you guys have flown those types of airplanes, is how would you know unless maybe you saw it, tiny bullet hole? How would you know? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Heard? I mean, it depends on where it hit.
right, headphones on, engines running.
Well, you wouldn't hear a gunshot. You'd
Right.
hear
No,
it
but you
either.
might hear it hit the plane, though.
You'd hear the impact, and maybe by then it's not fast, so you're not going to hear it like zip by like
No.
Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
I
You
mean,
might hear a little pop, right? And then
I could think it would sound maybe like a pop, and now you're like, was that a circuit breaker? And now I'm trying to look around, and then wait, why is there a hole? If they saw a hole, I don't know where it.
yeah,
I don't know.
sounds.
I mean,
I don't know. It'll come out, I'm sure. I don't know how they were alerted that they need to go back to the gate to get something checked out. And then obviously when they were back there, I'm sure maintenance were like, hey, you got a hole here in the airplane. But because usually like that phase of flight, before takeoff, like, you're busy, you're talking checklists. I think that's the Spirit. That's the Spirit picture, isn't it?
Okay. I
yeah,
don't know.
that's a Spirit number.
yeah, because that's the
Yeah.
The first one
Yellow.
the internet showed.
The yellow.
The yellow. Yeah.
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 And I'm pretty sure this one went in the cockpit. But yeah, I just, it's kind of a busy, noisy time, a lot of chatter on the radios, talking checklists, flipping switches and stuff. I'd just be kind of curious to what was it that alerted them that, hey, we should probably go back and take a look.
Did
I
you
mean, if they
skip it?
if they hit a window or something, I could see you look, and the windows
Yeah,
visibly.
Yeah.
I don't know where it went through. You know what I mean? Because I don't know if it would just pierce like straight through. I don't know.
Well, so what's
Mover's more of a
behind
ballistics?
what's behind you is circuit breakers.
Yeah.
So if it went through there, it probably impacted a circuit breaker or something.
Yeah, which would cause whatever Boeing's
Some
version
kind of,
of
you
an
probably get a
ECAM to
master
pop up.
caution or something. You don't get an ECAM in that airplane, sir.
No, I said whatever Boeing's version is. I don't know if any pop-ups. I'm assuming they have a pop-up for like circuit breakers, right? Or no?
You're gonna get the caution, and then it's gonna tell you what it is. It's not like there's no like ICAS like in the
Gotcha.
7.8 or something. It's a little bit more rudimentary. It does have like it will tell you certain cautions,
Yeah.
but if a breaker trips and something is not operative,
Powered.
you're like,
Yeah.
it's so noisy in that cockpit that
Right.
I don't know.
Even
how
at
you would-
idle on the ground, it's noisy. Because I know the 7.3 gets its notorious like it's noisy going fast because of the cone. The nose hasn't been
Were they-
changed since this.
So were they taxiing?
They were just sitting at the hold short.
Yeah. Hold short.
So I mean, I don't know
So-
if it's as noisy then. I don't know.
And if you're just
I'm
listening,
just brainstorming. I
Yeah,
don't
the
know
ECS
anything.
is still pretty noisy
Pretty loud,
compared to
yeah.
other airplanes. I mean, it's not.
I mean, let me.
it's not- Go ahead.
Have you guys ever taken off on 1-3? How far? Like
It's
how
pretty
wide
close,
is that
but
river?
it's close, but it's no closer than other airports where there's roads right there and there's stuff right there. So, I mean, you're not. I mean, there's plenty of airports that you've been to that you're taxiing right next to a highway or
Yeah.
you're not. I mean, I don't know.
What I was getting at is maybe they could see something. I don't know. I read a handful of articles about it today, and some of the comments were like some areas around Love Field are pretty violent, I guess, and
Sounds like it.
it could have been a stray bullet, but I mean, I
Sure.
just can't imagine, shooting at a passenger jet. I mean,
I think it could be a situation. This is all speculation, obviously, without knowing it, but it could be a situation where it was a stray bullet from some sort of violence on the ground. It could be some sort of sick copycat from the Haiti thing.
yeah,
People are twisted, man. We've talked about this with the lights and lasers and stuff like that. Like they don't.
yeah,
think
that's
about
true. Yeah,
the ramifications of their actions, and their stuff like that, where they're like, "Oh, I'll shoot a bullet at this plane. It'll be hilarious. Look at my YouTube hits." And it's like, well, dude, you could damage it, you could hurt somebody, or who knows? That plane maybe nobody even notices and takes off, and now it's got cabin pressurization issues and all sorts of other things. You just don't. I don't know.
yeah.
I hope this doesn't become a trend.
I know.
I will definitely from now on be letting my FO do all the taxiing while I slump down low in my seat. So,
Just seems
because
like
they're more expendable. I mean, FOs are cheap. So
Seems like there's been too many stories of bullet holes in airliners lately. I mean, it's kind of. I mean, when I'm flying, I don't think
You
about
don't
having
think
to
about
jink.
that.
Yeah, it's like, am I gonna have to jink on arrival here? Am I gonna? Do
Yeah.
I look for muzzle flashes on short final?
Yeah, you don't. I mean, it's a different world. And I did a flight into where the heck did we go? I forget.
Haiti?
Somewhere out west for and it was on 4th of July, and we were landing like right after sunset. And, all the fireworks were going off right around the airport, and I was like, man, this is wow. Like it kind of brings you back to your old days of seeing stuff lighting up. But yeah, this world, you don't think about stuff like that.
Yeah, I have
You
to get
assume it's safe.
I have to get that B1 patch that Matting was talking about.
Yeah.
AAA with big airplanes, but yeah, go ahead, dude.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like kind of a canary in the coal mine kind of deal, because we spend so much time on security theater that we sometimes don't look at what the next threat is.
Yep.
And this is a threat. We've got access, we've got means, you've got, the ability to smuggle things across the border up to and including man pads. I mean, dude, there's nothing. I mean, there's nothing stopping the next big attack from happening in that scenario other than going to the tactics we used in the desert and the C-130s used in the desert, where you're blacked out at night, crossing the fence, so nobody, expanding the perimeter of the airport itself, encroaching on whatever, which is already cramped because nobody likes airports.
Yeah. Until they want to go fly.
because like I think of this as a pilot, as a cop, as all this stuff. I'm like, how do you stop this? How do you secure it? Right. I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
the other alternative is to harden the aircraft, in which case that adds weight, that adds, cost, that adds, I mean, look at, what's the Israeli airline, LL?
Yeah.
They've got, countermeasures for man pads and stuff. Other aircraft have like the little laser thing that they were trying to develop to put on the aircraft. But it, to me, should raise some red flags of people going, okay, this happened a few times in a third world country. And it just happened, whether it's by accident or not, it just happened in, one of the largest cities in the country. Maybe not the busiest airport, because that would be DFW.
Sure.
But TFW, dude, I just drove in between the runways, like underneath the bridge as the aircraft taxis over.
Same in Atlanta.
And to me, the risk is you do this on short final, which there's plenty of access. Anybody that's ever done that, it's scary because it goes, are they taking this seriously to know that we've got another threat, and can we stop it before it becomes, our next big event?
Well, and the thing too, I think that if the powers that be, whether it's the airport security, the airline, the executives, this goes all the way into training, the pilots, everything. If you need proof this is a plausible threat, just Google all of the plane spotter Instagram accounts.
Oh,
if
yeah.
any one of those dudes could sit there with a camera
yeah,
and take these high resolution photos,
dude, DFW has an observation area. Like that's all. It's 100% for. Like I drove by it today. I'm like, it's an observation area, and it's just it's very nice, by the way. It looks beautiful.
Oh, I'm sure.
But
is it inside security or no?
No. Yeah, this is just on the perimeter road, airport road. On the north side of the airport, and you're like, there goes, Spirit or whoever was flying in.
Well, in between that, so they have the access. Radios, we've proven on this show a multitude of times that they can listen to everything we say and then some, right? So it's like, dude, people need to take stuff seriously or else you're going to have to take stuff seriously. So
I think the observation areas might be a good thing, actually, because that's, one locale you can police. Because like you said, Mover, if they're like hiding in the bushes everywhere, it's almost impossible, right? I mean,
yeah, I agree with that. I mean, the known areas are less of a threat than the unknown, or at least the hidden areas and stuff. But it almost becomes a problem, like the tactical problem starts to grow into infinity because unless you have options, right? You harden the target or you harden the area, and you have to move everything farther out to the point where there's all these businesses. You're never gonna get that done.
No.
So
we'll train the pilots.
The cost.
Train them to do what?
Well, that's
to
the
do
thing.
what?
Even if there was something to do,
right?
Training costs get cut all the time because it's all a dollar, a bottom dollar. So
the thing I say is, I don't know the answer, but I hope some smarter people than me are starting to look into this, going, "Oh crap."
Well, you brought up a good point, Mover. I mean, Israel would probably be a good starting place to just look at because they obviously take their security, of air travel.
Very theory.
One
their
step.
whole security.
They actually have security. It's not just a bunch of well, that, and you'd have to go to the Air Force and look at what C-130s do going into C-17s and
dude. Okay. But hear me out. Just hear me out. No.
Throw the reversers out at 20,000 feet. That's awesome.
Just for a moment, and I'm going to get hate for this, and you know what? At this point, I don't care. Let's forget about the 200 people behind the cockpit door. Let's just assume they're willing to ride on that show. Okay? Let's just assume it.
Tickets, man.
Right? I know you don't fly as much as I do, but you have seen plenty of airline trained pilots. What is your percentage success rate of training airliner pilots?
We're dead.
Dude, we have stabilized approach criteria at 1,500 feet, and we can't even hit that. Like, we can't even hit those windows, right? I mean, there's company pages everywhere.
Generic we, by the way. Generic we.
Yes, everybody. But like that's every airline, right? We have these things, and we can't hit those wickets, right? We are constantly struggling with those wickets, and now you're going to implement
a jink,
like or lights out approaches, and like, dude, no chance. Like, you'd actually be doing the job of the enemy, because they would just be like, well, we could save our bullets. These dudes are just gonna be crashing airplanes. Like, mission accomplished. Like, I mean, really. So
you got a valid point, dude. Very valid.
But,
like,
well, okay. Well, let's take it a step back. I mean, then maybe you talk to organizations like the Secret Service,
sure.
and counter sniper. I mean, we've done this with bird mitigation, right? We've gotten bird programs. Maybe it's you've got teams that. Like the defenders in the Air Force, the teams just go around securing the base, looking for threat. I mean, it's not
I'm
perfect.
hoping they have that already. I'm hoping.
I mean, there's a lot of unseen stuff, and I think it's good that it remains that way. And we probably don't want to expose any methods or tactics or anything like that. All I'm saying is this raises eyebrows for me, and I hope that if it hasn't already for somebody, that it raises eyebrows for somebody else.
Yep. Agreed.
That can do something about it, not just anybody.
Yeah.
Not just
none of us can actually do anything.
I have no power here.
We just talk.
As a guest on this show, I'm kind of limited in what I can do.
Yeah, me too. Even before that, even in your previous career as a podcast host, you were pretty limited. So
correct. I can do even less now.
Yeah. Well,
hopefully it's the last bullet in an airliner.
As somebody who's recently got fired, Mover, the transition back is tough sometimes, but you'll get there.
All right. Here we go. Moving on. Faster, funnier. All right.
What in the world?
Yeah. So I think it was last week? First time ever. Air Force KC-135 tanks a Su-30, Malaysian Su-30. So Western gas into a Russian fighter. So here we go. Whoops.
Did it immediately flame out because the octane was off?
Yeah. You put low test in it. Actually, probably need a little shot of vodka. So looks like the flanker tanks, like the U.S. Navy, right, with the probe.
I just thought you meant jittery because that's how I did it.
That too. So you're about to see. He actually does a really good job here, right? So he's coming in and. You can see the basket move right from the nose.
Nice.
Got it. Now you can hear a little clap in the background.
Was that clapping? I thought that was a rap song starting.
No, that was
somebody's. Dude, that guy in the back has no room. Look at that.
Look at. I don't know, man. Look how that thing is.
The front seat guy's got like he's in his living room, but the back seat guy looks like he's like.
Well, maybe they got it right.
That'll discourage him.
That's a good looking jet, though, man.
You got to be a jockey.
Yeah, pretty cool.
That's a good looking airplane.
Fun fact: every time I tanked, I also got clapping because they were surprised.
Well, I watched that and I was like, "Oh, that's super cool." But it would have been fun to see them actually tank off the Iron Maiden, right, Wombat?
Yeah.
Like, none of this Mipperpod easy stuff, dude. Give him the 6 feet of hose.
Rolls back there. Yeah, exactly. Give me 6 feet of hose and take it back to the motherland.
They probably tried, dude. They're probably this is a terrible idea. What are you Americans thinking?
Give me the long hose.
Yeah, we need the long hose. So I think that's cool, man. They're out there doing
it's always cool to see that joint stuff.
It's like give me my 20,000 pounds of internal. They probably did a burner. Burner departure and all the good. Yeah. Mover thoughts?
It's a beautiful aircraft. I love the flanker.
I do love the flanker.
Very good looking aeroplane. I mean,
how many times did the 135 have the Mipper pod on for you?
I don't remember the 135 ever having a Mipper pod ever.
Yeah, so
every time I had a 135 on a frag, I was like. And every time I was not disappointed.
Yeah, the Mipper is just these wingtip pods that have the long hose in it instead of the KC-135. Normally, they just attach. I want to say it's 6 feet of hose, but it's not much hose on the end
It felt shorter.
of the boom. And in order for it to flow any fuel, you had to plug in and then actually make the hose make a U.
Yeah.
Which really sucked. So the MIPR was way nicer and easier because, like Wombat said, you could just totally relax out there.
Oh, dude.
But
You're
I would
all
say
over
this,
the
man.
place.
In bad, like in turbulent weather, I actually do prefer the Iron Maiden style.
Well, that means all the time off the 135 because they would specifically find the bad
No.
weather.
Autopilot not working.
Yeah, we got to do some quals, so we're gonna click off the autopilot, go in a turn, and we found a storm. You good with that? Like, no, bro. I'm not at all good with that. I don't know why you would think that would be something I'd be good with. Okay, well, we're coming left. Oh, okay, okay, cool. Could you find the sun as well? Because I could still see your aircraft, so we might as well just take this completely.
Get your training with my wingman after I'm done.
Exactly.
It's like,
Do you need SAR on-scene commander training too? Because you're going to get that when I flame out. So
they must be putting. I don't ever remember MIPRs on.
Maybe they just did it for that. Maybe that's just something. It would not surprise me if the Air Force was like, we are not going to do it off the Maiden for the flanker. Let's give them some slop or whatever they're used to. So if they're not used to a Maiden,
No, they're used to they use an Airbus. It was A400. When I was there,
they
they
have
used
the long hose, right? So that's probably why they did it. I mean, because they don't want to become the test bed for like, hey, let's show the Malaysians what an Iron Maiden's really made about. Like, no, bro.
It's
No
a,
chance.
it could be a tactic to acquire a flanker refueling probe. Here's what we're gonna do.
Exactly.
We're gonna come back with this thing. So
the Air Force gave us this cool trophy. It's amazing.
Yeah,
They're so generous.
Love it.
Yeah.
Mover, I watched your 6th gen video.
Oh,
Here.
were you one of the comments?
No, sir. I did not comment.
Mover is dumb.
Nope. Yeah. You're so dumb. So this thing right here, can you guys see this?
Looks awesome.
It's got boom boxes in the intakes.
Well, yeah,
they're
you want to
like,
listen to music, dude. Doug Masters taught us that.
those are some. Yeah. No, so the White Emperor China's NGAD 6th generation fighter is just a mock-up. So
you don't say.
but they had this thing. So they had this thing at the air show, and I mean, I agree with you.
Wait, are you debunking my video? Is that what this is? Is that what you're about to? Hey, Mover, I watched your video. Turns out it's nothing.
No.
Way to treat your guest. Way to treat the guest.
Everybody go watch Mover's latest video.
And comment something negative.
Yeah. No, I brought it up because Mover, you told me that you had some additional information you wanted to talk about. And before you talked about it, I just want to say I agree with you. Yeah, I think it's just a prop.
And the right tire's flat.
Yeah, it's not doing this. Seriously, the
Budget
nose
cuts.
looks like a duckbill platypus. Like, what is it? What do we do there?
Well, yeah.
What is this? We're just going through your browser history now. Are you trying to debunk every video that I have? Is that what we're about to do?
That wasn't me, man.
That was me. I was trying to switch pictures.
Yeah. No, but you're right, dude. They need to be, 5th gen's here. So we do need to be thinking at least about the next generation of fighters. So, I mean, whether it's just an air show prop or if it is just a random design towards building something like that, you can't fault them. But what is I'm curious, man, what is your new data?
Breaking news.
So, I'm trying to find it, man.
Yeah.
Give me.
Oh, is that it? Is that?
No, I'm just filling in the spaces here.
Yeah, no. So that is
that's 7th gen
Firefox.
fighter right there.
Firefox, man. Yeah, dude. That thing is what was the movie they made in like 2007 with the AI? Remember they built the prop, they brought it on the Stennis.
It was stealth, wasn't it?
Stealth, yes. Yeah.
We
So
literally talked about this earlier with Jessica
Biel.
Yeah, exactly.
Show that. All right, so here's what it is. Here, Gonky, where's talking to the microphone. Remember we talked about this. So what happened here is that a few years back, AVIC, the Chinese manufacturing giant, sponsored a sci-fi universe called South Heaven Gate Project. In this universe's backstory, the Nantianmen Project, which is South Heaven's Gate, is a secret AVIC development project for a very advanced combat aircraft, one of which is the White Emperor, Type B, portrayed this year in model form outside the main hall in the Zhuhai Air Show. Cue in a bunch of clueless non-Chinese journalists who get fed the description that, yes, the project is an actual AVIC project in real life, and here's the sci-fi universe description of what it is and what the thing displayed prominently outside is. Boom! 6th-gen Chinese fighter. Add also that China's fighter generation numbering is always one behind that of the U.S., and no one realized that a Chinese 6th-generation fighter means 7th generation from the 2050s in the Nantianmen Project backstory. So what is the backstory? Well, in the near future, here you go, Wombat, this is for you.
Perfect.
An alien unmanned probe found Earth, leading to an
Love me
invasion
some alien
by
probes.
an alien drone armada. The humans banded up and repelled this, but after 30 years of defending, they got tired and tried launching a counterattack. This failed miserably, and now everyone has to figure out how to stay alive. Enter AVIC to the rescue. As one of the few intact mix surviving, is that a racist term? MIC. I hope not.
Keep going,
Mike.
keep going.
AVIC's secret Nantianmen project to develop 6th and Chinese system generation fighters was put into production, and a bunch of ace combat inspired superplanes started defending humanity. The Beatty model itself has a screen inside the cockpit that plays a simulation movie if you enter it. Although reporters are prohibited from recording the copyrighted content, they're serious about copyrights in China. It's a cool kids attraction. Nantianmen Project was sponsored by AVIC to interest kids in aviation career path, thus ending our lesson. Please send all hate mail to Gonky.
So wait a second. What I've learned here is we've uncovered a secret underground
Railroad.
aircraft that not only is one generation further ahead than we are, but can also take down UFOs.
Why
Allegedly.
is one landing light bigger than the other?
That's part of the. That's the technology. You don't understand the technology.
Yeah, you don't, dude. 7th gen. I mean,
7th gen, bro.
those aren't
That
even real
fire's part of
taxi
it, too.
lights.
Can you imagine Maverick against 7th gen
An F-14.
in space?
It's all about the pilot.
It's the guy in the box.
Think we can get
No,
the
at that
GF-30
point
into
you're dead.
space? Yeah. no
Well,
kidding.
he had the Dark Star that could probably go to space with it.
Oh, well,
Wouldn't be able to
unfortunately,
do much once it flamed out in space, but
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that is basically an expensive toy.
it's not even that. It's you can't. It's probably
Yeah.
plywood.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even really think it's that good looking.
Oh my
It's
god!
not even
Gonky,
close to good looking.
Jeez.
I'm just
Move
saying,
it,
if you're
Don.
gonna
Move.
if you're gonna get creative and really throw down, make it.
To all the people of China, this is most beautiful jet in history of all jets.
I mean,
Dude,
I
it's a
think
rendering of a video game.
I am very
Okay.
enthusiastic about this aircraft and would love for everyone to know that I love this jet and would
My
love
guess-
to fly it. All design flaws are actually perfections.
perfect. Yes, the flaws are perfect.
Yeah. It has come full circle. This thing could fly in space with our former friend Jared Isaacman
Going after UFOs.
and the little micro space debris that he used to scare Gonky out of going into space.
Everything about space scares me, dude. Yeah. Well, I listen, dude. I told you I'm a little superficial when it comes to my airplanes. I just don't think it's that good looking. It's just me. Sorry. I don't know. Yeah. Doug.
See,
Yeah.
what you guys, it's funny. You have me on here for the humor, but it amazes me that you guys have not picked up on the real technology here. That's not a Chinese aircraft. It's clearly Spirit's new aircraft they're going to take into Haiti. Hence the yellow color. It's very obvious to me. And it's also, unfortunately, why Spirit is probably going bankrupt now because it's really expensive.
That thing is not armored enough.
No.
You need an A10.
A10. That's right.
Yeah.
titanium bucket for every seat. That's what I demand in my airliner. The heck with carrying my bags. I want a titanium tub. That's funny.
Oh man.
Doug,
really dumb.
Is it fixed gear? Where even does the landing gear go?
I just jettisons. One-time use mover.
Yeah.
And then they punch
In
out.
China, you don't come back.
Yes,
No,
yeah,
you
you just
just-
jettison it and shell out when you're done with it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's made out of plywood. They can make another one.
Doug, we got any comments?
Oh, I'm sure we've got a few.
That's a nice thumbnail, man. Colton,
You have to read it out loud, Gonky. So that
I'm
the
getting ready to read, man. I was looking at the thumbnail. F-16. Colton
Hey,
says,
Buckley.
question for Wombat. I live in Colorado, and last week I heard a loud prop airplane flying over. I looked it up on Flight Radar 24 as an E2D advanced Hawkeye. What makes it advanced, and did you ever fly an advanced one?
I promise you, I did not fly anything advanced in a Hawkeye. That's for sure. The E2D, I don't know why I've never heard it called the advanced Hawkeye ever, just the E2D. But it is the newest variant. So different radar, different systems, and refueling, stuff like that.
Different
So,
prop
but
too, right?
I don't think so. I think it's still the A-plate, isn't it?
Right, but I got you. The advanced is the next model of the E2D.
Yeah, but I mean, so there was a time there where like they did call, like we had the NP 2000, which was the new Prop 2000, and there was some. I've never. Maybe they're calling it the advanced Hawkeye. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me. That sounds like something the Navy would call it, just like a Super Hornet. Like, I mean, it's like we don't have a. I mean, this is
greatest.
Yeah, we don't have a whole lot of creativity when it comes to our names, our designs. It's like, I mean, look at pilot wings, right? They're like, oh, this looks really nice, 1 anchor. Well, we need one for the back series.
Two anchors.
So I don't know, like, well, that's ridiculous. Cross them. Okay, so it's like we don't think through this stuff a lot when it comes to this. So Super Hornet, Advanced Hawkeye, maybe, but yeah, the E2D is the latest variant. I did not fly it; it was way past my time in the Hawkeye. So I was a steam gauges E2C.
Cool. Yeah, I think the advanced Hawkeye can refuel, right?
I think so. Yeah. Well, the E2Ds have that capability if it's got the unicorn
Oh,
fixed
okay.
thing. Yeah, which God help him for that. Like,
Yeah, you never did that, right? I mean,
as somebody who's flown a Hawkeye and refueled an aircraft, those two things should never have crossed.
7-hour legs is not enough.
No.
Thanks, Colton. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you. Hard pass.
Yeah. Thomas says, "Hey guys, great time tonight. What's the website for merch? I saw greater
trmatson.com. Oh, I'm sorry. Whose podcast is this?
It should. We're getting to revamp it. So these fancy cups.
Is that just a sticker on your old Yeti from the
No,
Blue
dude.
Diamond?
Tim's got a company that make these.
Tim's gonna have to redo them.
Yeah, Tim, you could just remove
just
the
one line
Gonky
it.
and Gonky show.
Just one line it.
The Gonky show sounds like something in like Southeast Asia that you can't talk about on.
You even have to change that. We'll have to get rid of the F-16 and put a T-38 there.
Dude, no, you're overthinking it. If you guys don't come out with a patch or a logo that just has it one lined and just X's out the F-16, you're missing out on a whole market of things. Like, don't change anything. Just one lined it with a Sharpie, X out the F-16, new logo. Done.
The Gonky show.
The Gonky show.
Yeah, order a marker so you can X out your own cup. We're actually not going to pay for that. The money has already been spent, but yeah, pretty sure there's a link on the YouTube right underneath the on the YouTube page there where you can click on it and go to the current store that we have for shirts.
Are you revamping stuff? Look at you.
That was the plan up until this show
The
started
divorce.
and Mover divorced me.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
happens.
he's just a guest on Gonky show now.
It's been that way for a while there. Captain Situational Awareness.
Corvette World Rob, 1950 style rocket salvos from aircraft and metal storm future weapons in tandem with Sea Whiz on ships could be a solution to drone swarms. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Only problem with the Sea Whiz is they're pretty close, and if that doesn't get it,
You
yeah.
lose.
yeah, you lose pretty much. Game over.
Yeah.
Thank
The
you.
Sea
though.
Whiz is awesome to watch.
It
fire.
is. Yeah, it is. But I mean, it's not unbeatable.
No.
I mean, I never
mean,
want to test that, but
No.
but I mean, it's
No, as far as I'm concerned, it is unbeatable, and I will never challenge
Yeah.
that. That thing was awesome.
I think they used one. I think didn't we cover that? They did use a Sea Whiz to knock one down, which is crazy because that means it's close, inside of a mile.
Yeah. Good for them.
Mhm.
Use what we got.
Josh, I've been hearing a lot about AI piloted planes. Does this scare me as much as it does this scare me as much as it does me? I think AI should stay out of war machines. Yeah, the whole every time I hear Elon talk about like AI and drones and stuff, it freaks me out. So
We better have that technology wired. Like
yeah,
hard figured
in a
out.
panic, they try to pull the plug, is not going to cut it.
Yeah.
It's like
No.
so. I don't know. Mover, what do you think? Guest on Gonky show. You don't have an opinion? on AI?
I think AI is. I for one welcome our new robot overlords.
I mean, dude, the Air Force is working right. That they're not calling it an F-16, but they're using one of the zombie F-16s. Yeah, I guess it's doing some really good work. They haven't
Question, not to be that guy in the room, but when the airlines integrate with the AI airlines, is it a staple seniority list or is it integrated?
I think it's the seniority list where you get cut and they just put themselves here. Yeah, no rest rules, dude. Yeah,
I don't make smart enough financial decisions for that to happen anytime soon, so I'm against it.
Yeah,
So,
you got to get another Mustang first.
yeah.
before they do all that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Might as well.
I don't know if flying airplanes is going to be a viable job in
No.
the distant future, anyways. Anyways, Colton. So if you shoot down a drone carrier, would you get credited kills for all the drones that the carrier had?
Absolutely.
Drones count towards an ace. I mean, balloons count for Raptors. I don't. Mover and I talked about this a while ago. I'm pretty sure they don't. I know they didn't in World War II when the British were knocking down the V1 and the V2, maybe not the V2, the V1 rockets. So
that means that the day of the ace is short-lived.
Well, if you can get past the thousands of drones and actually knock something down that has a person flying it, you would get credit for that.
Yeah.
But as of right now, I'm pretty sure drones don't count. Could be wrong though. I've been wrong about many things.
I bet they changed that in the nav admin.
You think so?
We've got to
Top Gun.
give ace to our AI overlords.
Top Gun says, you're like, oh,
Yeah, here we go.
yeah. Mover,
Sure.
what's your opinion?
Whatever you said.
I mean, we just talked about the Silver Star and the DFCs, and I mean that's the new reality.
Oh, I mean, getting an award for repelling an attack's one thing, but being called an ace for downing 5 drones, I don't think they're doing that right.
I think it depends on whether it can shoot back.
Valid.
That is valid.
Yeah, I think you're right, dude. If it can shoot back at me,
then I gotta.
Yeah. If I have
I'm at least gonna consider it.
If you got to do some of that pilot shit, it counts.
Yeah.
Valid. See, this is why we have guests like you on this show.
For my insight. Yes.
For your insight and expertise outside the box thinking. I like it.
He just doesn't want to get yelled at from the Air Force for talking crap about the drone cars.
Kevin says drones are only effective as long as we have satellites.
Then get rid of the satellites. You have to think of everything.
I don't think that's true.
Put some food in the raft. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
Depends on the drone, right?
Right. Depends on how. I mean, you don't need
long range. I'd assume needs satellites, but short range probably doesn't.
Well, who's saying they can't dead reckon themselves to the target?
Well,
with AI.
With the, I'll tell you who's saying they can. It's the trained pilots who can't do that. So, like,
Yeah, I need satellites,
Yeah.
but I don't know about the. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going without satellite help,
Yeah.
dude. These days.
yikes.
Yeah, I don't think they do. Ryan says, "Is there any good reason to reject a takeoff after V1?" Reference the Holmes jet, Honda, the Honda jet crash, right, in Mesa.
Fear of flying is the only thing I
Yeah,
breathe.
you clarified that with a later comment. Sorry,
Okay,
should have
yeah.
mentioned that.
Right? I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. I just saw a little quick thing about that Honda jet that crashed. So they tried to abort after V1 and didn't make it. So, yeah, there are reasons, but it has to be.
you better be right.
Yeah, and the Hornet is dual engine failure, flame out, 4-channel ARS failure, and then something else I can't remember. And the Airbus, I should know, but I'll look it up for next flight. But
I mean, for me, it's just what I breathe is fear of flying. Right? Like if you don't think it's airborne, what other option do you have? Like,
yeah, so like some sort of colossal loss of thrust, right? Like, yeah, you take a
thrust
couple
or
side
side
stick.
stick doesn't work, stuff like that.
Yeah. If you don't think the airplane can fly,
physically fly,
yeah, you can stop.
So, I don't know.
Mover.
Hope I never have to make that decision.
I was trying to think, did we cover something where they aborted after V1 and it worked out?
In some places it will. I mean, depending on your toll.
Well, no, I think I'm thinking of the Israeli one. Have you guys seen that video that I did? Do you want to debunk that now, Gonky? Or
you mean the one I
something to do tomorrow?
F-16?
The the Viper where the other Viper ends up on the runway and he aborts.
I mean, the
Israeli one.
Yeah, I vaguely remember it because I watched it and I sent it to you as, holy cow, check this out.
Yeah. Anyway, that was not above V1, so I don't think that's.
Mover, I think you're getting a conversation we may have had at drill mixed up with this show. So
Boy, no, you should have pointed that out.
No, just a random conversation we had. But
I remember we talked about it somewhere. I was just trying to remember. Yeah, we've talked about aborting above V1 because remember we had the T-38 brother that aborted, got airborne, landed.
Well, dude, in the F-16, if you're past V1,
yeah. Zoom stores jet eject.
Yeah. So Ryan, there are, and I think it's
flight control.
Yeah, it's going to be airframe company, whatever specific.
Yeah, for sure.
But the big one is if you don't think the airplane can continue safe flight.
Yeah.
Fear of flying.
Yeah. Fear of flying. That's right. So
every takeoff.
Yeah. You're not good.
Yeah. Joe, this may be my favorite episode ever. All that would make it better is if adult beverages were present, if they aren't already.
They're not.
Yeah.
Wombat, do you drink?
Water.
Water.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't drank in a long time. Can't. Asian.
How is that not a massively racist stereotype?
Yeah.
Because I'm Asian. I don't handle alcohol well, man. Never have.
No, you don't have to tell me that. That has nothing to do with you being Asian. I just went to flight school with you, and that was readily apparent.
I think it does.
Do I have to bring up the Oklahoma City story?
No. There's many.
That was not a good night. And you're not a light person to carry either. I'm just going to put that out there. All your fancy gym muscles.
Don't get me in trouble on that.
That was a good time. Pretty sure your dignity is left in downtown Oak City, though.
Plexi, speaking of dignity, Plexi, I've got your back mover. Fox 2 to Freediver. Freediver's face next merge. Yeah, dude, come on, man. Face shots are legit in combat. You can totally take those.
Yeah, every shot's legit in combat.
I used to take them in just practicing. You just don't call them. So, thanks, Plexi. Aaron says, "Movers on awesome guests. You should seriously bring it back." Wombat.
I have my people on it.
Hey, can I keep? Hey, Wombat. Okay.
We'll see.
All right.
Show me what you bring to the show.
What do you add here? What is that?
Apparently nothing. Apparently absolutely nothing. Wicked Spider says, new guy in office release the truth. Oh, of UFO.
Oh, you know what?
Hmm.
Let's go ahead and announce it now. Wombat has been named the UFO czar under the next administration.
Yeah. I'll be going to DC.
Mover,
gonna
you
be
just
real
lost your next
interesting.
invite to Wombat Show.
I just got
I'm
uninvited.
excited about it.
I got him 1 million subscribers.
I had to dust off the other Rolodex of contacts I have that are out of this world, and yeah, that'll be my next job. So
It'll be interesting to see what is declassified.
So I have to pass a story that we were talking about today, flying, because the FO I'm flying with was a friend of mine who's notorious in naval aviation for being quite a jokester.
Infamous.
And you guys will love this story, so it's going to become now internet fame. Because when he found out that I knew this other person, he goes, "Oh, dude, have you heard his UFO story?" And I was like, "I have not, but I'm kind of a SME in this area, and I'd love to hear a UFO story." So this is after all the Nimitz stuff, right? Everything, it's kind of a big hubbub in the Navy. And this guy, who's a friend of mine, comes down. He's flying Charlies, right? So it's got the cameras over your shoulders, right? Not steady state recording, right? And he knows what day the intel officer, his intel officer, squadron intel officer, is working in Civic, right? And I guess this guy, their intel officer, was a little high strung. So he comes back from a night flight. He's a very animated guy. And he goes, "Dude, I got to talk to CAG intel. Got to talk to CAG intel." He's like, "Well, he's not here." He's like, "What's going on? You can debrief me." He's like, "No, you're not read in. CAG intel is it." And he's just baiting this guy, just feeding the line. And I mean, I know this individual, and he's fantastic at doing this, right? So CAG intel, all this. No, we can't get CAG intel. Like, he's in a meeting. Like, I'm your guy. Like, he's like, "No, dude, this is above your level of class. This is serious, right? I need CAG." And he's like, "Dude, you," and he gets, this intel officer gets mad. He's like, "I am read into more than you know. I can do it. Just debrief me." And he's like, "Okay." He's like, I had a UFO sighting. I've had a couple of these. I had one tonight. It's a big deal. You know, and he's like, "Oh, so now this intel guy gets all, he's like, "Oh, dude, it's happening. Like, it's happening, right?" Like, "I'm going to be on CNN." Yes. So he goes, "Do you have it on your tapes?" And he goes, "I do. I got it all on the tapes."
Oh boy.
So with this steady, with the shoulder cams, he cues it all up. This intel guy gets all his paperwork. He's ready to write stuff down. And he's like, "You ready? This is huge. It's fast, but you'll see it." And he goes, "Yep." Well, what my buddy did is he took a cardboard cutout of George Jetson on a popsicle stick. And he goes, "Now you got to watch because it's going to go quick." And he plays the tapes and does it all like Top Gun, like, "Okay, so they're synced, okay, and go." Right? And it's like, "Okay, here it comes. It should be any second now." He just goes, "Did you see him?" Like, and he makes the noise. And he's like, he comes back. Dude, he goes, "Here it goes." Like, dude, apparently this intel dude just blew a gasket. And I'm like, this is the type of stuff that makes the Navy what it is. And
That's what you do on cruise, man.
Oh, dude.
That's what you do on cruise.
And I
It's
know
like-
the individual, and I could totally see him doing this. Just like, dude, just wired. Anyway, but yeah, DC UFOs, that'll be me.
The czar.
Appreciate the cush job.
The czar.
Yeah, the czar. So, Rogan, holler if you want to talk about it. Be good. So, whatever.
Well, there you go. Wicked Spider, you got your answer, man. We're going to hear everything.
We're going to hear it all.
Yeah. Salty Vet says, Salty Vet Dad, sorry. 1950s rockets against drones don't work so well. Check the battle. Palmdale. My dad was on the Navy side during this. Okay. I don't know the Battle of Palmdale.
I looked it up. They were using an F6F as a drone and trying to shoot it down with 50s jets and couldn't do it.
Really?
Apparently it was a big problem.
With 50s rockets or like 50s jets?
The pictures are showing F-89s.
Oh, wow. Well,
and it was flying around over Los Angeles, so that was a problem.
I mean, is it like,
where's the carrier? Not over LA.
Says you.
Says me. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Salty. Maybe they still have the same problems today. AMT says, how about AI maintenance replace wrench turn?
Sure.
I don't know. They're talking about what, AI and robots doing surgeries.
Sure.
Could you do surgeries on or maintenance on an airplane? I don't know. Probably not. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they're the AI robot types that are walking around.
Who are you going to buy a case of beer when you over-G the
That's
target?
true. A case of oil, dude. It's like
Yeah.
here. Yeah. Probably not. Bill says Wombat reminds me of my dad, an F4 pilot in the USMC. There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Exactly.
What you get on the Wombat show.
He also ate crayons, and that I respect. Damn it.
Thanks, Bill.
I don't know why a lot of people are like, dude, were you in the Marines? I'm like, no. What in my personality screams?
Yeah. Yeah. You just,
I mean, that's
There you go,
awesome. but-
Gonky. Gonky show good.
That's Gonky show good. Words I can understand. Thank you. Thank you.
He
Appreciate
kept it short for you.
Yeah.
Someone starred that. I didn't see it go in.
That's what she said.
That's fine.
It's fine. Oh man.
Crazy
What
Pete
else?
says, how did you three meet and become
It's a
friends?
nice Mustang. Is that a Mustang?
Yeah. Well, yeah. A long time before the divorce, Mover and I met at VFA 204.
Once again, Gonky just bebopping his way in. No interview, nothing. Just, hey, I'm here, guys.
I fly jets. I
Yeah.
was over in the other world for a couple
Hey,
years, but
Mover.
obviously you still
Heard-
want me.
Heard you're going somewhere. I've got your job.
Can I borrow your helmet, bro, while they get mine? And then Wombat and I met in API.
When I made fun of you for getting orders to Vance, and then I learned that I was also going to Vance.
I think Wombat actually thought I'd be able to teach him to fly and be a jet pilot, but he was wrong. So I was not barely able to teach
I never thought that. I just figured I'd bring you down with me. To be honest with you.
Close, very close.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then Mover and Wombat met through me.
You're the conduit.
That's all I am, dude. Just
Yeah.
glue.
Is that what a conduit is?
Kevin says, will a wedge tail replace the E2 dome?
No way. Need the dome. Dome's way too cool.
There you
Way
go.
too cool.
I don't know.
Plus, we have a bunch of domes, and the Navy has no money, so you're not going to replace it.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any capability difference. I mean,
Probably, but that's nerd stuff. Like spinny, and that's. I mean, how are you going to have a Hornet join up on a wedge tail? They won't know that the radar is not actually on. Then you can't make them go down to the flight dock and have to get all that testing done because they got radiators when they didn't. Yeah, so I mean that alone writes it off in the Navy. Can't mess with people. No chance. No chance.
yeah. Plus, too much money to develop another carrier.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. No.
Thanks, Kevin.
I've failed my first chance to get paid on this show. Apparently,
What do you mean?
Joe tried to pay us $2 for me to put this as the for legal
send-
reasons. This is
I'll
a
s-
joke banner on
I'll-
his earlier.
I'll send it to you. Yeah.
All right, you owe me $2.
I you two more than that actually. Bill says Wombat should team up with the Fat Electrician or
I don't know
Can't
what that
read.
is.
The Fat Electrician is another YouTube channel.
is it?
Oh, really? Oh.
Yep.
Is it good?
He tells stories. They're pretty good.
It can't be as good as this show. I mean,
I
tonight's
I
show
tell stories.
specifically.
The Gonky show.
The Gonky show, the first one.
How many, wait, hold on. That's an untapped resource. How many followers does he have? I feel like all these have bought Treason Flight and Vengeance Flights. So
Yeah.
might be time for me
probably
to
more
call it
than
a
us.
night.
Thanks, Bill. We caught up?
1.42 million.
Whoa. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
probably- he
Holler at me.
Aaron says, pack your UFO stuff, Wombat, with yeah. See, dude, you got you're
I got clout. It's fine. It's
you're
fine.
gonna be free to
I
disclose.
can't
all
wait.
the
I'm going to
stories.
disclose it all, and the money will rain from the heavens.
New book deal.
New book deal, movie deals. My
Uh,
space age friends will pay me heartily to tell their stories.
Are we we caught up? No, dude, there's a couple more.
Wait, they're out. They must have come in while I wasn't looking. Hang on.
Yeah, there's a couple more. We're basically at the end of the show. We're just over 2 hours.
I was curious how long the 2-hour show was going to last.
Have you seen the footage of the Malaysian C-30 fueling? Yeah, KC-135. Thanks, but yeah, we just covered it. Hopefully, you got to see
Funny
it.
you should mention that.
Yeah,
Good
exactly.
looking at-
It is great looking airplane. BJ, $6.69. Who wears the pants in the Mover Gonky marriage? LOL.
Neither.
Funny. Yeah.
Neither.
Yeah.
We're both bottomless right now.
Oh, man, I got that first.
He asked for the divorce.
They're not even wearing full shirts. If you ever buy a Mover and Gonky shirt, it ends
It's a belly
right below
shirt.
the nipple.
It's a belly shirt. That's what it is. I love it. Zipper says Doug doesn't get paid. That's
Yeah,
100% valid.
I'm going on strike unless you double my salary.
Dude, yeah, it's got to feel like babysitting kids tonight, man. That's. I think we're caught up now, right?
Yes, sir.
Wow, we're at 2 hours. Mover, did you want to partake in a mental health minute? Or as our guest,
I will
as a
partake whatever you would like.
as a guest, I'm just asking, man.
Please key it up.
Okay. Wombat, correct me if I'm wrong, but you wanted to do perspective tonight, right?
I just threw it out there as an idea.
I'll go third.
You want to go
Dibs
third?
on second.
All right, perspective. All right. All right, I'll kick it off with perspective. I think it's very important, obviously. Having perspective is one of the things that I struggle with the most. Yeah, like I said before, I'm a Christian, and I do say my prayers, and I have a problem. I have a problem praying for things, or even the thoughts of my mind as far as wanting more, because having traveled around the world, I've lived in Saudi Arabia for a long time. I lived in Malaysia for quite a while, traveled around the world, and I have seen that I'm an American, and my take is, if you live in America, you're one of the richest, luckiest people in the world. That's just how I feel, because I love my country. And I know I've seen with my own eyes people who live an actual very hard life. And so anytime I'm struggling with any of my Western problems, I'll call them, I always try to put things into perspective. Remember things that I've seen, kids playing in like sewage water, things like that. I look at my kids and the life I'm able to provide for them, but I still want more for them. My wife and I, we would like to have, a bigger, nicer house, all the normal things that I would argue that most, Americans in general, doesn't matter what class of American you are, work hard for and strive for, through their adult years. Because I don't care who you are, whether you're an American or not, you always want the best for your family. And realizing that, where I'm at when I'm struggling with, with basically, we kind of talked about it before, the battle in your mind. It always helps me putting things into perspective. It's almost like the measuring stick, if you will, when you're dealing with any issue. Now, I'm not saying that, perspective is always, you don't always have to use that. But it is something that I use a lot just to keep myself grounded. Wombat, what do you think?
I think it's come up a lot recently with flying for me. For whatever reason, FOs, first officers, get comfortable. I think I tend to be more relaxed as a captain. Utilize them, lean on them to be a team. Right, we're both in this to safely get our aircraft and people from point A to point B. That's all that matters. And not all captains are that way, right? And we've all flown. We've all been new hires. We've all flown with the crusty old guys or girls that have their way. And no matter what you're taught or what you've done, like, their way is the way. And you hear it a lot of these stories, because I love hearing these stories about these captains, and they talk about, well, they're dealing with X, Y, and Z, and you know, they're first world, and in reality, it's not even first world problems. It's like elite first world problems that most of the time they've created themselves. And you know, the more I listen to these stories, it's 100% that perspective has just been completely lost on them. Like they don't understand how lucky they are, how good they've had it. You know, I'm not wishing ill will on anybody, but the stories of lost pensions or mergers or like that's this job, you know. And I remember one time when I was not on probation anymore, I was still new. I had this captain, and he would talk about losing his pension, and I was like, yeah, that's rough, you know. And he goes, well, you wouldn't understand. And I go, well, probably can if you think about it. And he goes, how could you possibly understand what it's like to lose an airline pension? I was like, well, that's not what I said. I go, but hear me out. When I joined the Navy at 20 some odd years old, my plan was to be in for life, meaning getting a pension at retirement and all that. Plans changed, right? I got out. Now, granted, finished in the reserves, so I will eventually get it. But guess what? This guy I'm talking to also got a segment of his pension, right? Plans change. You have to adapt. But he's completely lost perspective. And to him, nobody that walked his shoes could possibly see how hard it was. And you see this a lot in this industry. And it's something that I am really trying to not fall into. And one of the things that I have tried to focus on recently over the last couple of months with not being an instructor anymore and flying and this type of stuff is, you know, what I call the 4 F's, right? And I've posted about it, and, you know, it's my faith, my family, my fitness, and my financials. And they are in that order. To me, if I can look at those 4 things, you know, and I've had people, I mean, you talk about negative hate. I've had people tell me, specifically, there was one person, and this was so bad I blocked it, which I don't do normally, but told me how I was an idiot because I had them backwards. It should be financials first, then fitness, then family, then faith. And I for whatever reason, I engaged this person because I felt like God was not necessarily testing me, but giving me an avenue to change this guy. And it didn't work. But you know, but the argument was if you don't have your finances, you can't possibly focus on your fitness, and then you can't focus on having a family, and faith is always going to be there. That was this person's thing, and I felt so bad for the perspective of how he looked at things, because I feel like with my faith, everything else can work, right? Next, you talk about my family. Well, they're very closely related to that, right? Their health, their happiness is very important to me, and that's not in a materialistic thing. That's just being healthy. I mean, I thank God every night that I have 2 kids that are healthy, because not everybody has that. And they're safe and they live in a safe place and things like this. So trying to keep that perspective. My fitness, because I'm useless to the 4th F. I can't make my money if I don't stay somewhat healthy, right? And I can't be there for my kids if I don't stay somewhat healthy. And then the finances come last, because what I've learned over my career is you can always make more money somehow, and you can always find a way to spend more money. And if you get in that loop, you'll always spend more money than you make, and you'll always be chasing the money, and you'll never be happy, and all the other F's go out the window. So it's just been interesting to me, the conversations now that I'm flying more that I have with first officers. It's like more often than not, the things that they're experiencing, the individuals that they are with, or they come in contact with the job, that they want to talk about because they were the egregious ones, the ones that it's like, you won't believe what this guy or girl did or how they acted. Every one of them, when I think about the instance, that person they're talking about has completely lost perspective on things. Like, to them, what is bad to them, 99% of our society would kill to have. I mean, legitimately. And I remember a story happening when I was teaching, and I was down in the break room. I was about to go teach a sim, and a new instructor came in, all pissed off. I mean, just super angry. And I was like, "Hey, man, what's going on?" And he's like, "I was supposed to be a seat fill, you know, where you pretend to be first officer or captain for the simulator. They called me this morning and they told me that I have to teach it instead." And I'm like, okay. And it kind of stuck with me, and I taught my sim, and I went home, and, you know, Anybody who's married knows, like, if you've been married for a long time, like, your spouse can read your face. And I get out of the truck, and my wife is in the gym working out, and she's like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "Wow, it shows, right?" And she's like, "Yeah, what's up?" And I tell her the story, and she goes, "Okay, well, why did that bother you so much?" And I, at the time, our neighbors were getting their house painted, right? 3 guys were painting their house. And I go, if I walked over there right now and I told those guys that I'm going to pick one of them to get paid what I get paid to teach a sim for 5 hours of work, they would slit each other's throats to be number one in line for that. And this instructor, who was hired to be an instructor, was pissed because he had to instruct. Like, that is the epitome of losing perspective on everything. Like, you applied for this job, you got hired to do this job, and now you're angry that they're asking you to do the job for a good salary, right? So I think perspective is something, and I've lost it. I think we can all lose it at times. It's very easy to lose. You don't have to be a pilot. You don't have to. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you are on economic scales or anything. Like, you can lose that perspective. And it's something that I've noticed. It's been popping up a lot lately. And I'm like, okay, well, my goal now is to be like hyper focused on my perspective on things. And like, at the end of the day, all the stuff I can't control, the negativity, the hate on social media that's for whatever reason is directed at me recently. I go, you know what? I can't deal with any of that because it's not one of my 4 Fs. So let's go back to the 4 Fs. If I've got those wired, the rest of the stuff will all figure itself out. So,
Mover.
Well, I'm just gonna say I agree with everybody, but dude, this is flying related, right? I guess it still is. Gonky, we're still gonna make the Gonky show still a flying show.
It says the Wombat show right
Wombat
here.
Yeah,
You have to
so
ask.
it's a UFO show now.
you know, I remember when you first like flying, and even later in flying, still today, you know, every now and then you look out the window and you're at 30, 40,000 feet, whatever it is, and you look down and you're like, there's a whole world going on right there. You know, that's a 40,000, that's the literal 40,000 foot perspective that we talk about, because, you know, you get this grand picture of everything happening at the ground level. But then when you're at the ground level, everything seems like it's pressing and it's right there, and it's all happening. So when we get kind of wrapped up in our own stuff, sometimes it's tough to maintain that perspective. And I go back to things we've talked about on the channel, Colonel Mattingly being here, about, you know, talking about what you're grateful for. That's a good way to do what's called a reframe, being more positive, thinking more about the good stuff in your life versus focusing on the bad stuff. You know, when I was going through my stuff with the military, one thing that helped me with perspective was volunteering with the sheriff's office, because I would go out there and see somebody that had just been through the worst day of their lives, or had just been that, and you're like, holy crap. You know, I mean, the things that you see when you're kind of just trying to help somebody else, you're like, man, I've had some bad days, but I've never had a bad day like that. Yeah. And then you're like, well, okay, knock on wood, I don't want to. But if you take that and give yourself a little bit of grace and perspective, you go, well, I am grateful for the life that I have and what I have now. And that perspective kind of carries you through to the next thing. When we were dealing with the T-38 stuff, and I hated the airplane and hated flying, really. I mean, there was a time for 6 months where, you know, I was just in a constant state of, you know, cortisol, because I just was, it was tough. And I remember telling you, Gonky, on the radio on Aux on our last flight, I can't believe I ever hated this. You know, I can't believe I was ever scared of this.
Yep.
And if you go back to when I first started flying, I would have been like Wombat talked about I would have killed, you know, 14 people to be in that cockpit for one flight, not for a career, but for one flight. And sometimes it's still tough, because I look back and I'm like, man, I have regrets. I wish I'd have done this. I wish I'd have had a, you know, things don't always work out like you think. Because I thought I was going to be like Wombat talked about, you know, Finney flight at 20 plus years with the family, getting the champagne and, doing the burner closed Emmelman to the, split S to final. And that didn't happen. I mean, my flying career ended as tragically as any, but what was the perspective there? Well, I should have been more appreciative when I had it. But also, as I look back now with perspective, I go, well, I did some cool things, and walking away from that, whether intentionally or, by force, allowed me to do other things, allowed me to help other people and do stuff. So I think a lot of perspective is just reframing and allowing yourself to see the good in things and not focusing on woe is me. What is the positive outcome? And I always talk about, one of the things that helped me was the military family counselor that was in the squadron, being able to sit down and being able to talk to somebody. That's a squadron resource. Most squadrons have a director of psychological health. If you're in the military One Source, they're a free resource for military people, chaplains, just somebody that can talk to you and help you reframe what you're going through. Because sometimes if you just talk it out, you'll get a new perspective like, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Because at the time you're in this fight or flight response, and you've got to step out of that physiological response and get into a psychological place that is calm and content. And that's hard to do without help. So worst case, 988, if you're thinking about hurting yourself, 911, go to the emergency room. Somebody's there to listen. Somebody's there to talk to you. Doug, what do you got? Sorry, Gonky, that was your turn to tell him. I apologize. I lost my head.
No, man, it's.
I brought a visual aid for my story. This is a picture of an autocross course, and
The BMW. Good
this is
recce.
another picture of an autocross course. When I first started doing serious car sports 30 years ago, I was really excited to try to get my wife into it. And we found a car that she'd like to drive. It was not my car. It was my friend's car. And she went out to the starting line and looked at the race course and started crying. And that was the first point in this story about perspective. Was, to me, that was something that would always made me happy and excited. And, oh boy, I get to start another race. And she looked at it and it just blew her mind, and she started crying. I said, "What's wrong?" She said, "I don't know where to go." And I said, "Well, don't look at all the cones." And what I hadn't realized is that when you first start out, you don't know where to look. And I had been doing it long enough that I knew, okay, there's just one cone out there that matters. And then after that, there's another cone that matters. And then there's two cones that matter. And she got it figured out pretty quick. But for every bit of 30 years since then, whenever one of us is having trouble with perspective, the other one is obligated to tell them to don't look at all the cones. That's our code for get your perspective back. You're going to be fine. Take it one step at a time. All those different things that you guys have all said one way or another that are excellent advice. We've got that code for it. Or if one of us is upset and we don't want to tell the whole story, the other, we'll just say to them, "Well, I looked at all the cones today." And that's our code for please help me with my perspective. So that's my perspective.
Nice. Thanks, Doug. Oh, well. Look at that. We got a show, gents. And we're back to the mover. We've got we're back to the
We're back. Oh, you guys are made up. We're back.
We're back.
They're back, ladies and gentlemen. If you've lasted this far,
2.5
the
hours
divorce
of
court
therapy.
worked.
That's right.
I don't want to take credit for fixing this relationship, but I'm gonna. So you're welcome for my service. If you need more viewers, you need more fun, I'm here.
Wait,
Doug,
do we get
There's a couple comments.
Yeah, we always get some during the mental health minute. Although this is not one of those.
Holly Movie Star, would be neat if you could get Stalin on here. Recent female Blue Angel demo pilots in space has been
on. Her story is awesome. Like,
yeah,
she was
on the IMAX show, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was prior enlisted, I think.
You need to get the flight knock on.
different channel.
For you, Gonky. I'm just,
yeah.
for your show.
All the views.
John says the only thing you sometimes have control over is perspective. You don't have control over your situation, but you have a choice about how well you view it. Mike Tyson.
There
I
you
like
go.
it.
Dude, you got your butt beat by a YouTuber, man. Mr. Tyson.
Did he? Did he? No. I
No.
He's 57, man.
mean, yeah.
No.
Did he?
He was
Lightning.
pulling punches.
Yeah.
That was all for the show.
He danced around for a little bit and made $20 million. Who's the real loser here? The three of us. That's who.
I didn't watch it. I didn't.
I didn't watch it either. That's
I
just
didn't
what I
know.
heard. So
I watched the highlights.
I heard there wasn't many of those.
Thanks, John. Aaron says God comes first, everything else will come into light after that, even these times. Yep. Yeah, 100%. Is that it, Doug? Oh, Zipper says,
One more.
good point, Gonky, fully disabled at 50, now 57 in a warm house. One kid in basic, one high school achieving, junior in college, madly in love with a fabulous dog. It sucked, but how? But now it's good.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's you can definitely get caught up in the world around you and forget.
I think sometimes one of the purposes on this planet is to go through the really hard times so you can appreciate
Oh yeah.
the really good times. You know,
Yep. Makes you better.
but yeah.
Thanks, Zipper. We caught up, Doug? Is that it?
We are. I'm being
All
really
right.
super conscientious about muting myself now, and it's actually slowing me down a little bit.
As somebody with an extremely hurt ego, Doug, I appreciate that. 'cause-
Wombat will never be back on the show, Doug. Thanks.
Sheesh. You
I'll
and
talk
that,
about the ledge later.
We need
you
to
and that really mean commenter on Instagram.
yeah.
Wait a second.
Probably Doug.
Are you the? Wait a second.
Yeah. Or we need a highlight reel.
I don't even know what Instagram is.
Yeah,
That's funny.
nobody does.
Yeah. Well, Mover, thanks for coming on my show. Wombat, thanks for coming on my show tonight. Doug, as usual, thanks for carrying me. I know I'm getting heavier, but sorry, bud. I'll
Yes,
double your
sir.
pay. And yeah, thanks everybody for showing up tonight. Great time next Monday. I might have Mover back on, probably will. Maybe even get Wombat back on here. But
I don't know, dude. My Mondays are looking pretty open these days. Might bring back the old Mondays with Mover live. We don't know.
Are
Oh,
your
dude,
Mondays fully booked? Is that what you're saying?
It is
Sorry.
Mondays with Mover, so you
Dude,
might
you
have a
guys should
competitor.
Competing podcasts at the same time. Oh my god. That'd be
Wednesdays
Gonky
with
can call it
Wombat.
Mondays without Mover.
Yeah, Mondays without Mover. That's right. Yeah, just tell me what time yours is. and
All
mine will be
Monday,
at
no
that time.
Mover.
Getting it with Gonky.
Getting it with
Yeah.
Gonky.
I don't think so.
Oh man.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for joining us tonight, and we will see you next time.